Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May 2022 Bitcoin Cash upgrade live stream. My name is Lightning. I am joined with my co-host Alex, and I'm sure all of you are here because you want to see our handsome faces. Joining us at the beginning of the stream, we have Jonathan Silverblood, who is one of the authors of the chips that have been included in this upgrade. And joining us later will be some other very important developers who had a hand in creating these wonderful upgrades, which they will tell you all about because I am certainly not competent to explain them in any detail. Alex, would you like to perhaps introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Sure. So I'm Alex, you can tell by the giant name on the screen. I've been in crypto for quite a while, not as long as I would have liked. I wish I got in back in 2011 when I first read about Bitcoin, but I was a bit young then. But I've been in the space for a while. Came to Bitcoin Cash about 2-3 weeks after the split, after the 2 megabyte block upgrade failed on Bitcoin. After that was taken away, and really just been a part of the community ever since. And today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. We're going to be talking about the two main upgrades that are happening right now in a couple hours, which are going to be bigger script integers, better math, and then also we're going to be talking about native introspection opcodes. We have quite a guest list, which I'm really excited to be talking with some of these guys here. I don't know if we want to introduce anyone. I mean, you already introduced Jonathan, who's one of our speakers. But my Zoom froze.
No problem. Also joining us very soon is going to be Emergent Reasons. And later on, Imaginary Username is going to be joining us. Jason Dreyzehner is going to be joining us as well. And that rounds out our guest list for today. Jonathan, I see you have a lot of snacks on your table. Could you please tell me what are we eating today?
Could you ask the question again?
Sure. What are we eating? You're sharing these wonderful snacks with us.
Right. So this is lemon cookies.
Oh.
This is some dried berries. There's some assortment of nuts and some general candy and some breadsticks.
Fantastic.
That's nice. All I got is this glazed coffee roll from Wawa I just got 20 minutes ago.
It looked big enough.
As big as my face.
I don't have anything. I feel quite left out here. I should have prepared something.
I'll buy you a coffee.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Please send it into orbit.
Yeah, I'll have it teleported. It'll be on the next block. Don't worry.
Thank you. Speaking of blocks, let me see here. We are at. So if please, Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but the upgrade will be officially in place 6 blocks after 12 UTC. Is that how this works? John is here.
I think something like that. The cash.coin.dance, for example, now lists there's 5 more blocks to go on their countdown timer. I'm sure John can verify he was reading the source code and making sure a little bit earlier.
Could you send me the link where you were watching that? You said it was CoinDance, was it? Anyway, I'll post it in the chat for people. The people at home can follow along.
Cash.coin.dance. Gee, before we forget,
yes.
we definitely want to give thanks to our sponsor,
Absolutely.
So Bitdeer is a mining service. They're great guys. I've been big proponents of the Bitcoin Cash space for a while. They're actually sponsoring this video today, this live stream, and we're going to be giving away almost $1,000 in Bitcoin Cash. So you'll be seeing some links posted in the chat by Cheap or myself, and then also every so often I'm going to be holding up a sheet of paper with a QR code. First to scan it, we'll be sweeping the funds, and so the links are going to be between $5 and $25, and the QR codes are going to be filled with $75 of Bitcoin Cash.
Wow!
So whoever's first, and now lucky day, you're going to buy yourself either one overpriced Starbucks coffee or math. It's 75 divided by 5, whatever the hell that is. I don't. Too early.
All right, so we have 5 blocks, and is it 5 blocks plus 1 is how it actually works? This is confuses me.
I can say this. Yeah,
Please.
There's a set of rules that we probably don't want to explain exactly all the rules, but basically it looks at the last number of blocks, 11 blocks specifically, and it says as long as we have so when a miner creates a block, they have to put a time in that block, right? And they say, okay, this is the time. And there's some rules around what it's acceptable and that kind of thing. But there is no such thing as like an absolute time. So whatever the miner puts in there, that's the time of the block. And that can be plus or minus some amount. So it looks at the last 11 blocks and it says, as soon as we have at least 5, so as soon as we have 5, as soon as we have 5 blocks that are after where the miner said this block is after 12 UTC. As soon as we have 5 or 6 of those, then it says, the consensus rules say, okay, it's been activated. Now, no matter what happens going forward, the next block is going to have the new rules in the block. So that can be 5, but it'll probably be 6. And then the next one after that has the new rules in it.
I see. Thank you very much. I know that you finished just recently a Twitter Spaces, and the question was already asked there. But for those of our for those of our audience who were not listening to the Twitter Spaces, I'm sure the less technically inclined would love to get some kind of explanation as to what exactly these upgrades are. Would one of you two like to explain a little bit? Maybe Jonathan, you were involved in the chips there. Could you let us know what your involvement was?
Right. So in this upgrade, we're going to have 2 large things change. One is called native introspection, and what that is going to do is going to make it easier for developers to create restrictions on transactions based on who, where, when, and what, rather than some limited set we had before. For example, after this, it's going to become really easy for a developer to say funds can only be sent to this specific address, or you may send funds, but you may not send more than this number of funds each time you send. These things seem trivial and obvious to some degree, but it wasn't easy to do before, and now it's something that is very easy to do for a developer. The other half of the upgrade is switching from 32-bit numbers to 64-bit numbers, which kind of both aligns it with where we are with modern computers today, and also makes the numbers large enough to be used in regular finance use cases, where previously the numbers were so small that some things just weren't feasible to do. And also, we're going to re-enable the multiplication opcode so that a developer who wants to make an application doesn't have to figure out how to do multiplication by other means.
Okay, so
let me
please,
just as a short summary, because I just struggled with this on the live stream. But the huge benefit, it comes down to, if you were going to summarize it, it would be for app developers, entrepreneurs and app developers. Now making smart contracts and applications with Bitcoin Cash is easier, faster, safer, and it actually scales better. So the contracts that you do are smaller on the blockchain. So there's benefits for the entrepreneurs, and then a kind of a small benefit that it scales a little bit better because of the upgrade, if you wanted to really take it up to a higher level.
Thank you very much. I see we have some questions in the chat already. Roger, thank you for joining us. Roger asks, can people discuss the potential dangers, if any, during this upgrade?
I honestly don't think there is any danger to this upgrade. We had pretty significant discussion well over half a year ago and hashed everything out back then. And so we've kind of just been sitting here and waiting to see, like, is anyone able to come up with a reason not to do this? And for the last half a year, no one has. And it's not for lack of trying. Like, there's been additional test vectors being made, there's been transactions on the test networks. There's been a lot of work. Multiple node teams have implemented it in their own nodes. We haven't found anything that would say that this is a bad thing. And so I think we're going to end up in a situation where this is just going to get upgraded and nothing peculiar will happen. It will just work.
And I'll even say the opposite. To steelman it, of course, there's a chance that there's some bug in the code. That's true of any upgrade, right? But I don't think there is. It's been hacked to death, and there's a ton of test vectors for everything. But if there is one, we'll fix it. But no, there's none of the kind of risks that we've faced, and specifically Roger has very painfully faced in the past. And that's what I was saying is the opposite, is that whereas in the past, each upgrade was often quite painful, right? It was like there's a lot of last minute stuff. There was ideas coming out at the last minute. There were, ultimatums being put out at the last minute. The code hadn't been finalized until like a month before the upgrade. And even then it was like, oh, well, maybe we're going to change this thing. Whereas now that we have the chip process and everyone has pretty much agreed to follow it, which means that as long as everybody agrees to follow it, then, for example, the code has to be done 6 months ahead. The upgrade has to be finalized 6 months ahead. So that means, like Jonathan said, we were sorting all this stuff out a long time ago and hashing everything out a long time ago. So all the discussions and compromises and collaboration happened long ago. And then by the time we reached 6 months before the upgrade, it was like, okay, yeah, everybody knows what's going to happen already. It's just a matter of getting it into the code. And then it got into the code. And then it's just something that never happened before, which is that in the 6 months since then, the only thing people talk about is the next upgrade, right? So people are already working on and planning for the next upgrade, which is fantastic because that means the businesses involved, like General Protocols and others, the developers, they're just confident. They understand what's going to happen and it's stable. Nobody's worried that things are going to get upended at the last minute or something like that. So people are just moving ahead beyond the current upgrade. The current upgrade is almost an afterthought now for everybody who's working on these kind of things.
And John, do you want to just quickly touch upon what the chip process is for those unfamiliar?
Yeah, that's a famous question that apparently never gets clearly answered.
We're working on it.
G-Flaving, do you want to try to answer that, like with what you think is a short answer, or should I try that?
How about I give it a shot and then you jump in when I drop the ball.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so basically, the chip process is a new thing. It doesn't really exist anywhere else. There is not a person standing on the top of the hill who says, yes, this is what we are doing. It is a system in which somebody makes a proposal. Somebody has an idea and they think it's going to be amazing for Bitcoin Cash. And it is now up to that person to do all of the hard work of research, talking to all of the...
I think we lost Cheap.
The cat died.
Well, he has 8 more lives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Parties
You can
involved,
try again.
stakeholders, figure the ways
we lost you for about 10 seconds. You're down to 8th life now.
Sorry. Sorry, I seem to be having a connection problem, John. Please go ahead.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so like you said, the chip process is a voluntary agreement. It uses what's called a Schelling point, which is something that the former developer in Bitcoin Cash kind of established. It's a very good idea, where as long as everybody agrees on it, everybody agrees on it. And that sounds silly, but that's the way humans work. And so there's this thing called the chip process. Everybody agrees on it. And it just says, hey, the default in Bitcoin Cash is that we have a network effect that we have to protect. And there's a lot of users using it. And there's people doing things on it. There's companies that have built products on it. Don't break things first. Don't break things. But the default reaction to any good idea is no, right? No, that's not going to happen. And the way to get from no to yes, that's definitely going to happen is the chip process. And like Cheap Lightning was saying, that involves going out, having a good idea, explaining it very clearly, not just an idea, but exactly how is this going to work? What does it do? What are the risks? What are the benefits? What does it break? And if that has anything in it, like you're going to get a ton of pushback, right? What impact might it have on business? What impact, all of these kind of things, all the meta of a change, not just the technical details. And you have to go out and communicate with people. You have to talk with miners and pools and exchanges and businesses and investors and other stakeholders. You have to go out and find the stakeholders who would be impacted by this. And you make sure that they're okay with it and that they think it's a good idea. And you collect, their statements like, yeah, this guy thinks it's a good idea, but no, they said you really can't do this because it's going to break our process or our product or whatever. So yeah, you have to do a ton of work, a ton of legwork, and a ton of consensus building to get all of these stakeholders listed up and to convince everyone that this is actually a good idea, like actually a very good idea, and it's worth the risk of doing an upgrade. And once you've done all that work, by the time you've done all that work and all that consensus building, it's already agreed, and there's nothing really to argue about. There's no, you don't need a king to come in and tell everybody to do it. Everybody's already agreed to do it. And that's why things are stable, is because by the time any of these things were agreed on, by the time they reached like a yes kind of phase of the chip process, they had already been through a very rough gauntlet of feedback and collaboration and criticism, so that if they reach that point, then everybody pretty much already agrees that it's a good idea.
And we recently,
how was that?
That was excellent. If you want even a more in-depth look at the chip process, we recently made a video going into it a little bit of detail on this very YouTube channel, the Satoshi's Angels YouTube channel. So feel free to later and find the chip process video, and you'll get a few other views on it.
Nice. There was some question, and to give major credit, right? I don't know where he is on people's screen, but Jonathan he's an incredible example of doing what I just said. So he did so much work to carry the chips forward, right? Because if you look at, I'm not going to name other chains, but if you look at some other processes for how changes happen, there they have a thing where you can publish like, oh, here's this technical change that we're going to make, right? And that's the extent of it. They publish a technical change, but that's it. And there's not very much meta going on around it. There's no kind of way to figure out, is this actually a good idea? Did they really cover all their bases? Does this cause problems that they didn't talk about or they didn't realize? It's really hard to do it because other chains don't actually have a process, and they don't have a process because they don't need one, because there's a king, whether they say there is or not. Other chains have a king sitting there in reality, right? A de facto king, whether they have the label or not. And they say whether something happens or not, or it's a team. Maybe there's a small team that makes the choice, but they say whether something happens or not. And that's a very unstable process, actually, right? Depending on those people, because as soon as they get leaned on, they start to change their mind. Or as soon as they get a carrot or a stick, it's very easy for them to change their mind and suddenly derail the whole ecosystem, even if the ecosystem doesn't think their ideas are good. So yeah, Jonathan has done an amazing job of that, of actually communicating with people, checking with all these different stakeholders, making sure what they think about it, getting people to work on things, making sure things happen on time, on schedule, making sure people do what they said they're going to do. It's a ton of work. And just having a good idea is literally like, you know, like they always say, is just like 1% or less of the work that actually gets done.
So, Jonathan, it's time to name some names. Who was really helpful in getting these chips across the line?
Wow. Well, I'll just start chronologically.
Sure.
Like for introspection, the people who came up with the actual thing in the first place and then built some testing implementations. Some of them are no longer working on Bitcoin Cash, but I think they deserve some recognition. Sure. Either way. Like Tobias Rust did a bunch of work there. And Marc Lundeberg has been helpful in a lot of the discussions and research for the math side of things. And Jason, who's coming later, has also done a significant amount of actually specifying the details of the introspection side. There's been a lot of stakeholders and developers in the ecosystem who has taken their time to do review, provide feedback, and we have updated based on such feedback in multiple rounds. And they're just too numerous to mention. But let's just say that if you look at the actual chip documents, you might find 10-something statements on there. But that's only the people who were willing to put their name and reputation and provide an actual statement. And in reality, it's probably more like 10 times that number of stakeholders who have been talked with and has had something to say about it. Then, of course, the actual implementations in the nodes so that we can use it, also very important. The companies that showed what the need was and what the value the solutions can provide, they've also had a significant amount. Like without them, there'd be no pressure to act. And so, yeah, the people involved, is a lot of people involved to get something like this across the finish line.
Thank you very much. It sounds like, like so many things, people are generally not aware of what goes on in the kitchen, so to speak. You get your delicious dinner, but you don't really understand the work and effort that went into making this delicious meal or this selection of snacks on your table, as the case may be. There's so many people involved. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done.
I was not.
Let me just add.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to add to Jonathan's to add something that Jonathan did so much work on that, and other people did so much work on it. And I often hear people, right? They're like, "Oh, the devs are doing something, or the devs are upgrading, or this is an upgrade by the devs, or something like that." And that has always been a misconception, right? Because the network does things. And in the past, I think what happened is and still true in a lot of chains, is that the devs are the only real stakeholders in a lot of cases, right? And they're not exactly the devs in a lot of cases. They're actually like the business team or the marketing team that came up with a coin, whatever. But even on very serious coins, in a lot of cases, the only people using it are devs or some close neighbors to them. But for chains that are actually being used a lot, like Bitcoin Cash, are being used by the people, these upgrades are by the stakeholders, not by the devs. So Jonathan didn't act as a dev. He didn't do the dev on these chips. He wasn't a developer on these things. He was an organizer, and he was a business representative, and he was he represented several types of stakeholder. And the people that he talked to were majority not devs, right? They were other kinds of stakeholders. And so these chips are not dev upgrades. This isn't a dev upgrade. This is a network upgrade. This is an upgrade for all the stakeholders of Bitcoin Cash, all the businesses, users, exchanges, pools, etc. So I've been very happy to see that we actually have, kind of on paper evidence now to show that, like, look, this isn't just devs doing something in a back room in a basement somewhere. This is something that involves the whole network in the decision process. So yeah, again, thanks to Jonathan for doing all that work.
Thank you. I see Bitcoin Cash podcast asked a question: does native introspection allow creating of coin white blacklists, which could increase regulatory pressure and reduce fungibility?
I think I can answer that one. So this is a topic that's being discussed a lot in the Bitcoin BTC ecosystem right now due to the BIP 119. And the idea is that when you have the ability to lock funds so that they can only be moved under certain conditions, if you're able to set up conditions where you recursively enforce those locks, like you may only spend money on these lists, and all money on these lists, wherever you spend it, must have the same contract. And so you end up with a situation where you lock coins into a certain small walled garden. And in theory, you can do that. And you have been able to do that on Bitcoin Cash since the check data sig upgrade quite some time ago. Now, why you would want to do that is an entirely different thing. And I don't think regulatory pressure is going to be significant with regards to this. I think the argument is kind of bad, actually. So, yeah, to answer the question, technically, yes, but we already can do that today. And this upgrade does not make any significant difference to it.
Thank you very much. John, do you have anything to add there?
I believe you're on mute, John.
That's good, because I didn't have anything.
All right. Another question from the audience. Sherry asks, also, how does the upgrade affect users?
So I can answer that too, I think. Or John can if you want to. I heard you answer it earlier.
Yeah, basically it makes it easier for businesses, entrepreneurs, and devs to create things with Bitcoin Cash. And so you can expect for it to be easier for wallets and other web apps to do more interesting things now.
One quick thing I just want to say on it, just to give people that maybe it helps make a connection, is that this is, whereas for the user in the beginning it meant nothing. Remember the iPhone going from 32-bit architecture to 64-bit. It does nothing for you if no developers take advantage of it, but enabled huge leaps and bounds of performance improvements, new applications, etc. So, I mean, it's a huge upgrade that you're not going to necessarily see a day-to-day benefit like that, but it allows for so much more to happen.
And I can add to that. Yeah, that's a good point. I can add to it that the unfortunate truth is that UTXO development basically got put on pause in 2017, right, with the BTC BCH split, and since then, like very little was done on UTXO development, and it was terrible. It was a huge disruption of the progress that Bitcoin had been making up to that point, and all the pressure to, maybe a lot of people don't remember, I don't know, but in the past it used to be like, hey, everything that other people want to do and experiment with, we're going to take the best ideas and do those on Bitcoin. And that idea just went, right? It died with the whole idea of never upgrade or whatever it is. I'm not sure what Bitcoin says. I don't want to get into that. But so slowly but surely, Bitcoin Cash has built that momentum back up. So it started with some smaller upgrades, and then there was a huge upgrade that allowed what's called covenants, which is what people would really think of as smart contracts, where they can actually do intelligent things and pretty useful things. So there was a huge upgrade that made that possible. And then from that point, we're just going to ignore the splits and that silly stuff. But from that point, the development has continued so that we'll be able to do these things that we want to do with money, and be able to not only send and receive money like we can do today, but do very useful things that any business or individual would want to do with money, without having to trust, some institution to take their money and do things custodially. Doing things like savings accounts, loans, which would involve things like NFTs and smart contracts on main chain, or being able to do payroll on main chain with some kind of application, trustless application, being able to, all kinds of things that you would want to do with money. DAOs, for example, being able to do those is something that we'll be able to do eventually. So all of these ideas are now being developed, and that momentum has been built back up so that we can actually move ahead again and do all the things that permissionless money should be able to do for people, all the utility that should be able to provide.
Thank you very much. I see we have a special guest, Roger. Lovely to see you again. Welcome. I believe you are muted in some way. I can't hear you. Is it me?
No,
Roger,
I think it's your Zoom settings. We can't hear you. I think you're Zoom input.
It has been 30 minutes and we still have not found a block. We're still waiting at 5 blocks.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the right microphone input makes all the difference. So I think we're going to have one additional special guest here any moment as well. But just want to tell you, I've been quieter the last year, but still been watching intently. And thank you to everybody in the peer-to-peer electronic cash ecosystem, because it's more than just speculation. Really building the financial system that the entire world can use permissionlessly without needing permission, and not just playing games with pump and dump schemes like lots of crypto seems to be.
Yes, sir. I just want to give you a quick thank you and shout out. I mean, anyone who doesn't know Roger, I mean, he's the first ever investor in crypto-related businesses. He's probably the number one reason that crypto is so pronounced today, with the amount that he promoted it just on the ground from day one of his involvement. So, Roger, just thank you for promoting peer-to-peer cash for everyone.
It's been a fun journey. My pleasure.
Has its ups and downs.
Something I'd like to
Last
point
week's
out.
been a little more down. So
I recently was a little bit inspired to watch videos from pre-fork time. And Roger's message has not changed. The speech that he gave back then is exactly the same as it is now. And that's some consistency that you have to respect. So thank you very much.
yeah, that's why I'm still a fan of Bitcoin Cash. I think even though it's number 20-ish in the market cap, I think it's still in the pole position, or at least certainly in the very first tier of currencies they're likely to become peer-to-peer cash for the entire world. Like, we have a really good shot at it, because if the whole world starts using US dollar-based stable coins, that'll be probably the biggest disappointment that could have happened to cryptocurrencies. But if you look at like the actual cryptocurrencies in the top, set there that are actual cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin Cash has the best user experience. Like it's just absolutely amazing. Has massive user adoption. It's on every exchange. It just has a bunch of BTC maximalist haters because they think that they're going to get rich by just holding BTC and not actually making it useful for anything. And I was thinking about like Lightning Network is just now somewhat starting to be usable if you're using a custodian for it, right? So if you're using a custodian, you might as well just use PayPal. Here we are like 7 years after like the scaling war really like heated up. So they literally delayed the adoption of worldwide peer-to-peer electronic cash by at least 7 years. And it's likely a lot more than that. But I feel like Lightning Network's been the most hyped vaporware ever in the history of like all of humankind. Like what vaporware has been hyped more than that? Whereas just now, after years and years and years after they've been saying 18 months away, it's just now barely starting to become usable when you're using a custodian. So that's my take on that. So, and I'm sure I'll get lots of hate from the BTC Maximus for pointing out that the Emperor has no clothes there.
Hey, I don't mind. Are we going to have a dunk session on Lightning Network? That would be kind of fun. I don't know if that's appropriate, but
we can always do a whole live stream on that.
So speaking of live streams, though, I want to implore the community, and I'll try and participate when I can as well. But like, that's one thing that I think Bitcoin Cash is a bit lacking. We're busy building all sorts of cool things, and we know Bitcoin Cash is awesome, but we're not doing good enough outreach to the general public. They have all of these live streamers and Twitter spaces and this and that, like with lots of people hearing about BTC this and pump to BTC that and just hold it, bro, and this and that. Like, I think we need to reach out to the world like, hey, Bitcoin Cash is awesome for payments worldwide, and spread the message and use that shareable link feature to send everybody, $1 or even 10 cents and get them on board that way as well. I think we've been falling behind a little bit or a lot on that point, and I would love everybody's help on that as well.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
if anybody wants some material, a little bit of self-promotion, but this is useful. If you go to blog.generalprotocols.com, we collect lots of shareable material, stuff that you can use to explain certain aspects of Bitcoin Cash or talk about it or say what's interesting or just find some topic to talk about. So it might be useful for some people. But yeah, I agree. We try to do some live streams with, not live streams, but the Twitter spaces. We've tried a few times at General Protocols. Would love for other stakeholders to do those as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to volunteer my Twitter account to help get those started, since it has a big enough following to hopefully get some critical mass. And then another website, I'm sure a lot of us saw whybitcoincash.com when it first came out.
Oh yeah.
Kim.com built that. He actually made some updates maybe a month or two ago now, where there's a bunch of images and stuff that you can post on social media and Twitter that explain very, very clearly the differences. And so that, he made it even easier for people to share. And occasionally I see those floating around on social media as well. But I think everybody imagines that Bitcoin works the way Bitcoin Cash actually does. And the fact when the split happened, it was so razor close. Bitcoin Cash very nearly won the Bitcoin name. And if Bitcoin Cash had won the Bitcoin name, Bitcoin Cash, it wouldn't be, $30,000. It would be maybe $300,000 by now, because the user experience would have been so good the whole time. But instead, BTC has the cool Bitcoin name, but Bitcoin Cash has the cool user experience. And so we're focused on the actual tech of what works and gives people a good user experience. Love Bitcoin Cash. People that are just chasing the dream of getting rich quick. They're busy out there promoting BTC or Safe Moon or whatever the pump coin of the day is. So
it's very painful, right? To see. I think a lot of people who are well-meaning and they believe in freedom, and they want to have separation of money and state, all those kind of things. They have a lot of good intentions, and it's just please, actually use
the Lightning wallet's not going to get you there.
No.
Yeah, right? It's yes, you have the right idea and all the things that you're saying are wonderful. You just don't realize that the thing that you're promoting doesn't actually accomplish that. It's really painful to see it. And it used to accomplish that, right? And now it doesn't. But yeah.
I see another question in the chat from Aaron. What is PMV3, and Will it also mean that the address formats will change? Anybody could probably answer that, but I think Jason is going to be joining us later, and he's probably the best person to comment on that. So maybe we'll save that for him.
Let me just say a tiny bit on that. The PMV3 has been replaced by Jason's other chip. So, and he did a lot of things. He did a lot of work and thought and thinking and planning so that we can get the benefits of his PMV3 idea, which have also been there in like the group proposal and this the PMV3 and then now in the cash tokens proposal, but get those benefits without breaking anything. And that was something that he did a lot of work to do so that we don't need to break anything. Nobody's going to get their app messed up. Nobody's going to get their wallet messed up. And we get new abilities and features. So yeah, he's done a lot of work to do that. So no, it's not going to require a version upgrade. So that's a very loaded question that has a lot of implication to it. So I wanted to just get that across.
Get out there. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. But because doing things like that breaks things, right?
Sure.
That's what I was talking about on the live stream.
Yeah. New abilities and new features, those are brought to the world by new businesses. And I see that Kim.com is on the call here, who's been busy building some really, I've seen the demos of these. They're getting really close and really, really powerful. I'd love to hear Kim talk about what he's excited about on that front, if he doesn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, congratulations. I'm excited for this update today. Let's hope it all goes smooth. And yeah, like Roger said, we've been working on a couple of things to make sure that we bring some traffic to Bitcoin Cash and, significantly increase the demand for it and the transaction volume. And one of them is called Cash Rain, where everyone can create a community and can do giveaways to that community, and community members as well can do giveaways, and it's all around Bitcoin Cash, and you can use Cash Rain to promote tweets, to promote, Instagram postings, social media postings. It's just going to give, for example, live streamers an opportunity to do giveaways instantly. It's all on chain. There's no intermediary. So if a streamer says, I'm going to give away, $10,000 right now for everyone who's signed up to my community, then he pushes the button and it goes out to everyone, up to, several thousand people instantly getting paid at the same time. So that's not going to drive some demand for BCH, and I don't know what will.
I know what
That's
else
fantastic.
will as well. I don't know if you want to talk about your other interesting project. But, he has another good one.
Yeah,
as well.
so the other day I showed Roger what I've been working on even longer, and that's FileShop. And FileShop is a really cool way where you basically upload a file into an encrypted folder, and then you can, through a smart contract, create shareholders for that file. So let's say you are a software developer and you want to sell your software, then you can put yourself and everyone else who co-developed the software with you in as shareholders by just posting your wallet ID. And then you can also allocate a promoter amount. So you can say 10% or 20% go to people who go out there and actively try and sell the software for me. So, they instantly get paid when any transaction occurs. So all the shareholders get paid, the promoter gets paid, the file shop itself is in a really nice, neat format. So if you find a link to a file shop, you get like a preview what's in it. And then a price point, you pay for it using BCH, and then all these parties that are involved, the shareholders, the promoters, they all get paid instantly, and it's also totally on chain. So beautiful. I think you guys are going to like it.
I like it already. Everything that takes advantage of social networking, right? Obviously, that's a thing that needs to be done and integrated. And there's this perverse incentive, right, where social networks have this kind of tendency to want to do their and to oh sorry, my battery died. They want to build their own coin or their own network, and they don't realize that, right? They start something and they think they're going to use their own coin, and then they realize, oh, I have no network effect. I can't actually do anything with this coin. So I would love to see Bitcoin Cash getting applied across social networks.
Yeah. What I love most about this is that it's just going to be viral, you know? Once people realize how easy it is to use FileShop and they have made a transaction themselves, they will want to use it, you know, to put content out there. Just imagine for a moment, right? You're Justin Bieber, you have a new single, you want to put that out on your Twitter or your Instagram, and you create this FileShop on the website that we've created, and then you put in all your fellow artists that collaborated with you on the song. You say, look, I want to be generous. I'm going to give my promoters 30%. And anyone who gets this first FileShop that Bieber is posting on his social media, they can set their own promoter wallet, right? So anyone who gets this file can set their own promoter wallet. It doesn't require any interaction with the content creator. And then boom, you know, this thing is out there. People can put it all over social media, put it all over the web. And it's a really easy way for people who want to promote an artist or a software developer or whatever else you want to put into this FileShop without interacting with them. You don't require their permission to become a promoter. You know, anyone can basically instantly make money from home just by promoting content on the internet.
It sounds great too, because you can add other people, right? Other people who were involved with whatever production, so that it doesn't become, you know, one person receiving money and then, you know, everybody else looking at them like, hey, well, you're going to share some of that, right? You can actually set up the group so that everybody's participating without having to do some kind of uncomfortable custodial process where you're doing. That sounds great.
Yeah, and what artists hate is this creative accounting by the labels, right? So in the end, they get a share of something after all the costs and marketing and da-da-da. By using this very direct approach, they don't need to trust any third parties. You know, they put in their wallet ID, put in their collaborators' wallet IDs with their shares that they have agreed to, and then every single time he sells a song, everyone gets paid real time. This is totally going to change how people are dealing with content online.
And Kim left out a little bit of how it works. So you literally create an encrypted file container, and then it uploads that encrypted file container to IPFS. So there's like, it works for anybody, anywhere there. And for anybody that's listening that doesn't know what IPFS is, go and Google that after. Like, it's really, really a cool system that people all over the world can use. So.
Yeah, so uncensorable hosting. We are not hosting the files ourselves, you know, and the whole process is completely Web3 and, you know, utilizing crypto in the way it's meant to be used, you know, like BCH, instant payments to everyone, no middleman, no custodial relationship. It's just beautiful, you know, and this tool, I believe, is going to grow virally because anyone who will see how it works will be like, holy shit, I need to do that as well.
Yeah, and I think there's I think on YouTube streamers and so forth, they take actually a huge cut from anything that you get in like the whatever they call tips on the various platforms, but they take an enormous cut. It was way bigger than I expected it would be.
I think it's 40%.
Yeah, it's something that you wouldn't imagine, right, until you actually see it on paper. But yeah, so yeah, having something that even reduces that to some kind of reasonable number would be fantastic for people.
Yeah, here's another thing to think about. You know, this is a very good point. Let's say you are a YouTuber, you have a huge following, or you're a Twitch streamer, and you have like 10,000 people watching you live. if you see content in a file shop from any of your artists that you like, you can literally take that stuff, put yourself in as the promoter, and then tell everyone on your stream, this is the latest song, 21 Savage, whatever. I love this guy. I love this song. And you know that anyone who downloads that and pays for that, you get your share instantly, and you never even had to enter into any kind of relationship with the artist, right? So that is what makes this so powerful, because there's nothing like this out there.
That is beautiful, man. I love to hear that.
I love it.
I don't know if you know, but so the company that I operate together with Jonathan there is General Protocols, and it's protocols for a reason, right? Having protocols which just tell you, hey, this is how you do the thing. You don't have to ask me to do it. Just do it, and it works. And so we can set up an interface. So, you know, if people want to use our systems, they don't have to ask us. You don't have to sign a contract. You don't have to do a monthly, you know, invoicing to settle our payments and things like that. You just say how it works, and it works. It's beautiful to see stuff like that getting built. I love it, the way you described that.
Yeah, no, it will be very exciting. And I think BCH, needs to get some more utilization, and this is the way to do it. And we will launch it for exclusive use with BCH. So we're not even going to allow any other cryptos to be utilized for this, because we really want to push BCH. That's what we believe in.
Fantastic.
And we believe it not because we're BCH maximalists. We believe it because it works so incredibly well. The user experience is there. It's the best peer-to-peer electronic system in the world today.
Yeah, it's something that I see people sometimes missing, where they say, oh, you should just accept all cryptos. And they don't realize that when you do that, what you're doing is you're cutting everything down to the least common denominator. You're cutting everything down to the weakest link in whatever system you're setting up. So yeah, if you try to include everybody, you end up not really being able to do interesting things. So,
and it's confusing for the users too. Most
average
Joe will have no idea what the difference is between this one and that one, and what address format this, and it's
yeah, and we wouldn't want users, to have to use something like Lightning, unintended, insecure. It's not peer-to-peer. So, we prefer the original vision. We prefer what BCH does, and I think it does it the best, and that's why. Yeah, exactly. It works. It's instant. And, what's also so beautiful about these two applications is that people will get to see the power of BCH. When you can instantly transfer thousands of payments to people in your community and they all receive it at the same time, that will be a lightning bulb that goes off for people, where they say, holy shit, I didn't know that this is even possible. That you guys can do this, and that you have the capacity to do all these thousands of payments instantly. That is something, once people realize how powerful BCH is in that regard, more and more are going to use it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even realize to receive a Lightning payment or to send a Lightning payment to somebody, first they have to generate an invoice that's requesting a specific amount from you. Like, it's just such a bad user experience.
They have some workarounds for it, but they all end up being some kind of custodial thing that just completely blows your privacy out of the water, or some other like major trade-off. And I don't know, I guess people just have to run into the wall by themselves several times before they realize, like, okay, actually this isn't good.
I mean, just look at what is happening in El Salvador. I mean, why did the government push for this, and especially a Lightning solution? Well, it's censorable money. Lightning is censorable. And if the majority of people are using a KYC application, the government can shut it down, freeze your funds still. They can take over whatever service. I mean, when the government created their own Lightning wallet for, you give everyone like $30 equivalent of Bitcoin, and then also forcing every merchant to, well, that was never the goal of crypto. It's not to have governments force something that people don't want. It's to give them their own choice, to go to a better tool, to take power away from governments. And El Salvador, if you disagree, you'll be arrested. Who knows what happens after you're behind bars in jail. I mean, you can't be critical even of the system. It's really quite sad, and you see a lot of people on the BTC side that are just pushing for this stuff, and they're cheering it. And it's quite sad. As people have fallen away from the original vision of what crypto is meant to accomplish.
We just got to keep building, making sure that we market, promote, get people to use it. Once they have something that works, it's one of those things. I've had a lot of these upgrades in my somewhat long life. There's some upgrades that you go through and you never go back. You just can't, right? You're like, I'm never going back. High-speed internet. Like I used to use dial-up internet. You cannot go back to that after you've got high-speed internet. After you've got fiber, you can't go back to, coax or whatever it is, or, digital cameras, like a good digital camera. Who's going back to, analog and film cameras for some very special reasons, maybe, but generally no. And I think Bitcoin Cash is going to be the same. We just got to focus on our thing, make it the best, make people use it, show them how good it is. And then they're just not going to go, right? When they try some substandard solution, they'll be like, I'm good, right? So yeah, we just got to make our own things amazing and make sure to get them in people's hands.
Hey guys, real quick, just want to say welcome to Imaginary. I think he's actually been here for a little while.
Hey.
Hey, where are we on the blocks? I haven't been watching that.
4 more blocks.
Okay.
4 more.
All right.
Yeah, sorry. For some reason, I was waiting for you to jump in, but I forgot you don't use the camera. So my apologies.
No problem. Yeah, I'm here.
And
Welcome.
In that case, welcome, sir. We love to have you here. How's everything in the BCHN war room?
Over at the monastery.
The monastery?
It was boring. It was boring. We mostly just did small talk and chit chat and curse at the fact that the blocks are coming in slow, and not much else. Not much else. Things have been going okay. We were also watching the Electron Cash service for compliance because it's decentralized. We can't possibly notify everyone, and we got a surprisingly high level of readiness. We only noticed one node that was falling behind, and Callan actually happened to know that guy. But otherwise, yeah. The pool seemed upgraded, and so we don't have much to worry about, and was just hanging out there and watching things.
Awesome. That's the way it should be.
Yes, uneventful is the best.
Yeah, and I want to thanks to all the devs that make these events uneventful, and so it's the developers that build the platform and the protocols that all the business people can then build their businesses around. So thank you guys all for that. And with that, I have to drop off the call here, but thank you guys all so much. And maybe I messaged Chief Lightning about it. Maybe we'll get a special message from Sonny in St. Kitts. That guy is like,
I love that.
People used to call me Bitcoin Jesus. Sonny is the real Bitcoin Cash Jesus. That guy, absolutely amazing. Anywhere and everywhere he goes, he's setting up people with wallets and bringing them on board and this and that. So, he said, I think he just woke up, but he'll be ready to join in a couple of minutes here. And you guys will be in for a real treat with that guy. He runs the liquor distribution business in the Caribbean. So if you're selling liquor to everybody, you know everybody. So he really has done an amazing job of marketing Bitcoin Cash throughout the Caribbean. So I'll let him tell you guys about that. And I'm going to drop off, though. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Yeah, guys, I'm also going to bed. It's 1 a.m. over here. So very nice to catch up with you and see you again. And good luck with this update.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks for sharing all those product ideas. That was amazing. Take care.
Going to disrupt
you will be able to use it soon.
Advertising.
I hope you will enjoy it. All right, bye-bye.
We will. Bye. You know what Roger was saying about Sonny is the same thing I heard from Ryan. So Ryan Giffin, who has been doing so much, talking to merchants and getting merchants to understand the benefits of having an optional way to work with money, different way to work with money. And he's the same, right? He already has a lot of business relationships and he has an established network. And so when he comes in and he says, hey, if you're looking for an alternative, or if you need another way to do things, or you're looking for, a new stream of income that will probably grow over time, look at this. And they already know who he is. So they say, oh, okay, I know this guy. I know he's not going to just make something up and sell me something. So yeah, that makes a big deal. So any business people who are out there, if you can find a way to make Bitcoin Cash useful for people in your network, don't hesitate to.
Ryan's waving hello in the chat. So hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Ryan is awesome.
Yeah, well, we're fortunate to have a lot of great people like Sonny, like Ryan, like Mark, a bunch of people in this community that are doing a lot of good spreading, and also many people, spreading Bitcoin Cash without even necessarily being named or going public. It's people going off on their own and doing it in the local communities. So, I think we're probably the only crypto group that takes such a serious approach to merchant adoption. I can't say I've seen anything close to this in any other community, but it's because we have the tools that make this happen, and that's thanks to our development team, thanks to the miners for supporting it, and also thanks to the community as well for actually funding our great team of developers, or many teams of developers. Flipstart is an amazing tool. I don't want to go talking about that now, but maybe we can on that later.
It's really cool, right? This idea that it's not just devs, it's not just one group that has control or does things, because what that actually ends up meaning is that the ecosystem's muscles get exercised in a lot of different ways, right? There's a lot of people acting because it's decentralized, just by the nature of it, right? If all these stakeholders weren't acting, Bitcoin Cash would just die. Whereas with other ecosystems where they have a very de facto or officially centralized thing, like this is the official website, we control it, there's a company or there's a dev team or whatever that's actually in control of things, the rest of the ecosystem loses its muscle mass, right? It doesn't exercise, it doesn't have to do anything. They just totally lean on, those guys are going to sort it out because they're the ones making money from the initial sale or whatever, the token, whatever they do, and everybody just leans on them. They're going to do the thing. Whereas the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem is that doesn't exist, right? So it happens because people make it happen, and everybody is actually a stakeholder. I think it's really unique.
Hello, Sonny. This is our first time speaking. You are in a beautiful location. Welcome to the chat.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Where are you now? It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm in Bombay, India. Just arrived here day before yesterday. Yeah.
We have seen you all over the place. You've been onboarding all kinds of merchants and everybody under the sun. You are a machine. Please tell us what have you been working on recently?
Okay, I've been doing the same, basically onboarding various kind of businesses, not just limited to, because I think a lot of people feel that onboarding a Bitcoin Cash merchant is somehow, they only speak about restaurant and bars, but it's actually beyond that. We have to think beyond it. So we have factories, we have small businesses, we have everybody like doctors, clinic for COVID tests, hotels, big hotels. Initially, the first 5, I think, is very difficult. You find it that if they say no, people like to give up very fast on it. But when you get the hold of it, when you get a feel of it, life becomes so easy because you get the confidence in you. And after the first 10, it just goes on.
Thank you. Please teach us.
Because I met a lot of people in India, and I try to tell them, this is how you onboard. They go to a couple of places and they get a no and then they give up. But that's not how it is. Actually, it's a lot easier than it is. People are more interested to do it than I am actually to explain it to them.
Nice. I saw some people getting skeptical of some of the onboarding and saying, like, show me the receipts. And then the next bunch of videos from Sunny had a little receipt in the corner of the video. Like that proof of
even the videos like going into the McDonald's and spending Bitcoin Cash right there. I mean, he put George Connolly in place. He was like, show me the proof. It didn't happen. It was like, Sonny's right there the next day, video, going to McDonald's and paying in Bitcoin Cash. That's phenomenal.
And showing the receipt.
Yeah. I cannot wait to head down there and to I'm going to buy my flight with Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to buy, you go to the Hilton, which accepts Bitcoin Cash now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to live solely off Bitcoin Cash. I'll do the challenge. I'll leave my wallet at home. Now I can take a credit card. I can take any cash. I'm going to see if I can survive.
Bring your passport.
Well, okay. Passport might be a little bit necessary.
Hey, Sunny. Somebody in the chat was asking a question about regulations in recent stuff in India, and it's not only in India, right, but other places as well. Like Nigeria has done some things. Of course, China. How has that impacted you? Like
actually, to be honest, it actually worked.
And so forth.
Yeah, it actually worked in our favor. People feel that the regulations are 30%, but people don't realize it's 30% on the profit. So if you actually accept as a restaurant, for example, or any business, $20, so you take it as Bitcoin Cash. You'd have anyways taken it as cash or a credit card. Now, if that $20 becomes 40, then you have to pay 20%, 30% on the other 20 that you actually made the profit. I'll be more than happy to pay 30% if it becomes $1 million, to be honest, because your 20 initial remains intact. Nothing happens to that.
I see.
So that's how India is working. And they only have this 1% TDS, which is basically 1% on every transaction that you do. But they end up paying 3% or 2.5% or 4% to the credit card companies anyways. So that actually is not the worry. It is the exchanges that are affected. They have moved from here to Dubai and all that. But onboarding will become much more easier after this regulation.
Interesting. I've also heard, just anecdotally, I don't have a lot of experience, but from my family and friends and other people who weren't interested in any kind of crypto in the past. But they always heard me saying, hey, it's another money, right? There's another form of money that you can use. It's an alternative. If you ever decide that you need one, and in the past, they were like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. But over the last couple of years, even those people who had no interest, they started to say, wait a minute, what was that thing you were talking about? Because this money stuff, it seems like the government can stop me from spending my money, or they can tell me what to do or what not to do with my money. And that made them interested in it. That actually they came back and were interested in after that. Does that ever happen with people? Like they're interested to stay with cash, like governments are trying to avoid cash in India also, right?
Yeah, basically all my employees, actually every single Indian in the islands does not want cash anymore. They want Bitcoin Cash because they want to send it back home. Sorry, I have a dog. Where you going, man? So everybody actually wants Bitcoin Cash because it's so easier to send now. We don't have to go to the bank anymore. They don't have to transfer the money via Western Union anymore. They just send Bitcoin Cash to any of the, how do you say it, the bookies who actually play cricket and take bet. They all accept crypto now. All the poker rooms in India, legal or illegal, wherever they are, only operate with crypto now because it's much easier. You don't have to travel with cash. Before they would fly, they would deposit the money to the well-wisher, wherever, whatever names you call them in the city. And then when they go to Goa, because that's the only legit place with the casinos, have a credit. Now they don't do that. They just fly anytime with their wallets. They have the crypto on their wallet, can be Bitcoin Cash or USDT or whatever, and just pay and cash out same time. It's much easier actually now with crypto regulations in place than before. You'll see a lot of onboardings coming very soon from Bombay and other cities this week.
Fantastic.
That's great to hear. Hey guys, real quick, just want to give a quick welcome to Mark Lamb from CoinFlex.
Hello,
sir.
Great to be here.
Rosco.
Hey guys, nice to see you. Happy Fork Day. Have a great day.
Hey Rosco.
Happy Fork Day.
And then also Jason D has just joined us.
Welcome, Jason. Hello, sir.
Great speakers. Just want to give them a quick welcome before we get back on with the discussion. So thanks guys for joining.
Did you name go back to the war room? Or
He did.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
He told me I'm supposed to go to the war room, and I was like, why?
Right. The event is here.
Yeah, right. Because there's nothing to happen. It's just upgrading. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Well, hopefully he can join us again towards the end, just after the upgrade completes.
It's a revolving door, and anyone is welcome to come and go as they please.
Nice.
But Sonny, thank you again. Like your work has been incredible to follow. I'm really excited to see what's going to be happening during your time in India.
Sonny, when are you coming back to Dubai? Come
Okay.
visit me.
Yeah, I need to really, actually, a lot of people here. I came the last trip to India and I left, and I realized initially you have to be there for that initial push. And once you have the few restaurants taking it, people like to follow, right? So once you have the big names, now in St. Kitts, life is much easier. Who accepts crypto? I'm like, Hilton takes it. Burger King takes it. So today we are signing up KFC. Actually, my guys are just going there right now as we speak. They're going to be putting up the stickers. Me and Roger had gone there. We had trained them, everything, created wallets, but it was taking time. So KFC will be on board from today. And it becomes much easier once there are big few names under your umbrella. Then you just give them as examples. So I think in Bombay, my target is to have like 10 top restaurants this week. And once you have them, and everybody's multi-owner. So no Indian owns like one restaurant. They're all 10. All the chains are big. So if they have one city, they have in all cities. So if you get 10 good people, you already have most of the cities and top names covered. So that's the plan for this week. And then Dubai. I was in
Well, if you're
Dubai.
in
I
Dubai,
actually onboarded
so it'd be great.
7-8
Yeah.
restaurants in that week when I was there.
I know. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. 3 blocks, everyone. We're down to 3.
There we go. So could be somewhere around 30 minutes left or several hours.
Hey, Mark, I have a question.
Yes.
Since you're here, when are we integrating the Flex USD with our Bitcoin.com cash register? I mean wallet.
That is a fantastic question. I don't know the answer to that actually, but I'm working with them on it.
Yeah, it's just because of the recent fluctuations. It's very important for us to the young guys, the new generation. It's okay, but the hard believers with the fluctuations, man, it's going to be a big asset for us where we can tell them you have a conversion, because the conversion right now is I don't know how they do it, but it's a lot of percentage. So that's one thing we need at the Bitcoin.com.
Well, what I'm really excited about as well is I think pretty soon you'll be able to use Bitcoin.com's Smart BCH integration, DEX integration, and then if we can get the wallet integration as well, you could have a merchant that gets paid in BCH and basically converts that into Flex USD in a decentralized fashion, and then immediately starts earning interest on their funds, all on the BCH network, and anyone can just fund that merchant with BCH, and the merchant gets what they want, the users get what they want, everyone wins. So I don't think there's any other blockchain that has anything that's remotely as good for payments and also as good for
that's going to be
contracts.
A big let me just check it.
Hey, Mark, can you just give a quick 60-second introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Mark Lamb. I've been in Bitcoin Cash since 2012. Basically started the first UK Bitcoin exchange back when it was known as BTC. And 2013 built that up to being the main UK exchange, and then moved to Hong Kong to start CoinFlex, which is the first physically delivered futures exchange. We now have 3 sets of products. So we've got Flex USD, which is an interest-bearing stablecoin on the Bitcoin Cash network on Smart BCH specifically. We have a borrowing and lending market we call Repo, and I believe it's the biggest place where you can borrow or lend out BCH in the world. And then we have a futures exchange where we're typically the biggest BCH futures exchange, but we have lots of assets on there as well. And I've been involved since basically the fork. I was a small blocker for many years, and read Peter Risen's paper on how a fee market can exist outside of the fact that there's a block size limit. So you could have a functioning fee market and a kind of a equilibrium supply demand situation without needing the limit of the block size. And when I read that and kind of wrestled with it for a few days, I realized that big blocks were the way to go. And as we approached the fork, I was kind of actively involved in some of the discussions around that with Giffin and others. And I've just been supporting and trying to grow and trying to buy as much BCH as I can ever since. So I've never owned more BCH than I do today. I'm probably going to buy more today, tomorrow. I mean, especially if these prices remain as ridiculous as they are. So yeah, just here for the community in whatever way I can be. And pretty typically that's as the CEO of CoinFlex and building an exchange that's hopefully going to be the biggest BCH exchange and biggest crypto exchange in the world. And then we'll have the biggest crypto exchange be a BCH friendly exchange. So that's my goal.
Awesome. Thanks. And then let's go on to Rosco. Do you want to give a quick introduction to yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys. I'm Rosco. I created CashScript in 2019, which is a programming language for smart contracts on BCH. And after that, I've worked with the General Protocols team on AnyHedge and all the cool things that they're working on. I'm currently not very actively involved in BCH anymore, mainly working on Ethereum projects now, but I'm still sort of maintaining CashScript to make sure that it stays updated. For example, for this upgrade, it's a big upgrade for CashScript as well. Because a lot of these upgrades that are happening today are mainly focused on the scripting system and sort of on the smart contract capabilities of Bitcoin Cash. So I actually expect that I'll probably publish the new version of CashScript sometime today after the fork, because it's basically ready to go live, tested on the new testnet and everything. So people can start playing around with those new capabilities pretty soon, I guess.
Great. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
And Jason D, care to give a quick intro?
Hey, y'all. Can you see me?
Ta-da. Yes,
sir.
Okay. I'm Jason Dreyzehner. I've been in the space for a while. I was at BitPay from 2013 to 2019, and now work on a few different open source projects. There's libauth, which is a TypeScript library with no dependencies that has lots of utilities for Bitcoin Cash stuff. There's ChainGraph, is a backend indexer database backend for kind of a next generation backend for Bitcoin Cash companies. And then there's a few other projects. I also wrote the technical spec for the two chips happening today, and I have a few other proposals for next year.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if everybody caught that listening, but what he just said was without saying it, was that he's one of the first commercial and otherwise developers ever on Bitcoin, period, right? From the beginning. So,
when did you start at BitPay?
2013.
Wow. Legend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Early days.
yeah.
So Jason, do you want to actually give us you mentioned, working on some updates for next year's upgrade. Is there any insight to what you can provide, what we could potentially expect?
Well, there are a lot of proposals out right now. And of course, those will be deliberated on more around November is how the chip process is seeming to work now. A few of the ones that I have been working on and that I'm particularly excited about, there is the cash tokens proposal, which replaces an earlier proposal. If you've heard the PMV3 proposal, it is a a set of two primitives that are extremely useful for contract developers that happen to look like tokens. They for most users it will look like we're adding tokens to Bitcoin Cash, but for contract authors, it's actually significantly more useful than that, and they allow us to do some very interesting things with decentralized exchanges and prediction markets, and a lot of cool decentralized applications. So I'm very excited about that. I expect also, if you have heard of the zero confirmation escrows proposal, there's some serious work happening on that. That's actually it doesn't require a network upgrade. It already works technically, but it needs to be widely deployed for it to be more useful than normal zero confirmation transactions. And as background there, normal zero confirmation transactions are usually secure in kind of a casual use case, but the zero conf escrows proposal attempts to make that incentive secure also. So where you'll be able to accept a ZCE transaction and not check the chain at all, not have to wait and listen for if something different happened on chain, and you can still be confident that the payment you accepted is as good as one confirmation the moment you got it. So that's quite cool. It gives us some superpowers, I would say. And then what else am I thinking? There's a few other things that are even more technical contract things. Then there's also some consensus cleanup stuff that I think we'll want to take a look at. Yeah, there's a lot of open stuff on the table.
Out of curiosity, could we expect potentially to see either larger blocks or a proposal similar to? I'm not sure if you've seen the proposal for Storm. Could we expect to see anything like that, or are they in development? Do we think they're not necessarily necessary yet? Curious to hear your take on this.
I don't know if I'm not personally working on either of those things. I'd say on larger blocks, of course, as far as I know, almost all of the implementations already are solidly handling significantly larger blocks, including like chain graph. The only thing that I work on that has anything to do with scaling is chain graph, and chain graph can easily handle like 2 gigabyte blocks or something like that. But I mean, it's just like completely irrelevant how large the blocks it can handle. And
I can speak a little bit to the scaling later.
Yeah. Perfect. Guys, let me just take a quick moment to just mention our sponsors once again. BitDeer is sponsoring this video. They're actually the reason we're able to do such a lovely, fantastic giveaway for all you guys. Down in the description below, you'll see a link to both their website and their Twitter. They're going to be providing 5 Bitcoin Cash mining trials to 5 random people that are new followers to their Twitter account. So by all means, please check them out. They're a fantastic group, and we cannot thank them enough for sponsoring. And then also want to just give a quick shout out to Satoshi's Angels. As you know, they're the ones that promote the stuff. They're the ones responsible for so many meetups around the globe. Or not necessarily responsible, but they support, and they've been a great help. As well as also, I could be mispronouncing it. Cheap, if you're familiar with the pronunciation, please correct me. PETA as well, or Peter, I guess, for donating as well to Satoshi Angels to support these meetups around the globe.
Perfect. Meow.
I have a question, guys.
Yes.
Okay, what actually changed today after the upgrade for a business, normal business that accepts Bitcoin Cash? Not from the tech part, but what changed for me and what changed for a business that accepts Bitcoin Cash? A business Bitcoin Cash merchant, what changed for them?
Yeah, I can answer that one, Sunny. So I was saying earlier, but the summary is that from the existing applications and existing things that people do, the end users won't really notice a difference today. But what it does is it makes it easier. This is one step along the way that's continuing to make progress of making it much easier for entrepreneurs and businesses and developers to build applications on top of Bitcoin Cash, so that we can provide more tools to businesses, savings accounts. They might use FlexUSD or they might use something else. Savings accounts, loans, making it so that a small business can make a loan, making it so that an entrepreneur who wants to start a business doesn't have to go through the legacy system necessarily, right? They can do some kind of organization that they can create, fund, get funding, and then do payroll, pay their team, and so forth. Do all of that on chain without having to interact with the legacy money system. So it's something for the future that's going to make things make it easier for entrepreneurs to get into Bitcoin Cash and for products to be built on it.
Hey guys, 100% technical, make it better, right? That's more on the tech side. Everything is on the tech side.
It's on the building side. Yeah.
I'd add a couple of the use cases that might be interesting for business use cases. There's recurring payments and advanced authorized payments. So payments where you go ahead and sign that like you're okay with paying the subscription for the next 6 months as long as it's within this window for the rate that you get for your BCH. I want to pay $10 a month for the next 5 months, and I go ahead and send you the pre-signed confirmations, and then the business can go ahead and process it. So it lets us build nifty systems that make Bitcoin Cash work for businesses a lot like businesses appreciate the features of credit cards. So that is, I think, a major use case. It requires quite a bit more infrastructure to build out. There's probably historicals and things like that. But this gets us the basics for those kinds of recurring payments and advanced authorized payments. And then the other very large area of use cases, I would say, is security for wallets. Right now, the best kind of security that, for the next 3 blocks, the best kind of security available on any Bitcoin-like system is multi-sig. And 4 blocks from now, Bitcoin Cash will support some very advanced vault designs where you can have time delayed withdrawals. You can have a withdrawal system that allows you to do an advanced authorization, which must age. So you have to advanced authorize for 7 days, and then 7 days later, if the transaction hasn't been canceled, you can pull up to 10% from your treasury or something like that. A lot of these features are actually vaults like that are actually very common in the traditional world of physical money. We've been doing this kind of stuff for thousands of years. Humans have known how to keep objects safe for significantly longer than we've known how to write. But in general, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin-like systems have not had the ability to do time-delayed withdrawals and percentage withdrawals and things like that. So we can, after today, it will be possible for very secure wallets to add vault-like features that let users get significantly better security for their Bitcoin, and for companies to have much better treasury management.
Thank you.
I wanted to add one more thing also, like I said, about scaling.
Hey guys, I'm going to have to sign off now, but I might be able to be back later. See you guys later. Thanks so much.
And
happy Fork Day to everyone. Great job, guys.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, about the scaling is that it's not a specific upgrade that's going on right now, right? But scaling is obviously important for us, right? Bitcoin Cash intends to be an alternative money, a permissionless money system that anybody in the world can use, and not just in name, right? Not just theoretically, actually it's practically working so that it's affordable and accessible to anybody in the world to use. And to do that, scaling is a huge part of it, right? If you don't scale, it becomes financially inaccessible to everyone, which is useless, which is sometimes worse than the legacy finance system. So scaling is a big deal. And some of the things that are going on there, this upgrade actually very slightly helps with scaling by making smart contracts smaller and more efficient, but it's not really anything like a main benefit of it. But something that is going on right now that's very important is, so there's a collaboration where BCHN has set up a Bitcoin Cash node. BCHN has set up a fund and a rough plan, and then is collaborating with Software Verde, the ones who make the Bitcoin Verde full node, collaborating with them to actually make a really solid scaling testing plan so that we don't only have the full nodes. You know, the thing that everybody thinks of when they talk about scaling is just like full nodes or something like that. But the reality is, if you're on a network where the only thing people do is use exchange and then buy and sell and whatever, and they're not actually using the crypto, then yeah, all you have to scale is basically the main node, the full node. And if that can scale, then you're okay. But that's not what Bitcoin Cash is, right? Bitcoin Cash is a whole ecosystem of people doing different things. There's indexers and all kinds of technical pieces that sit around it and that businesses use. And so BCHN and Software Verde are doing this project where they're actually testing all of those pieces, right? Putting all those pieces in a kind of test setup, a test rig, and finding out how they actually scale and where the bottlenecks are. Because we want, for Sunny, for everyone, we want businesses to be really confident that not only can we handle 10x, 100x of what we're actually doing today, but we can handle 1,000x or 10,000 or 100,000 times the volume of transactions that we're doing today without having problems, right? And so having that actual data and evidence out there that says, hey, look, this is how we can actually scale. We actually have evidence that the whole network, wallets, businesses, all the infrastructure that they use, all of it scales. So that's a project that's going on right now. And it's not specific to the upgrade, but it is being worked on now. And there's some results actually available on the Bitcoin Cash research site, if anybody wants to see those.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Please.
Yeah, please.
I've heard this said a couple times now that the performance improvement of this upgrade is going to be for contracts only, and so it's going to be fairly small. But I just have to disagree. Like, if you look in the regular payment system, most people pay rent on a recurring basis. They pay internet on a recurring basis. They pay a phone on a recurring basis. They utilities on a recurring basis. Recurring payments is a massive use case for money, and that is going to get implemented using contracts if we get to move in this direction. And so looking forward to the future, the scaling improvement of these contracts that we're doing with native introspection now is going to significantly improve our scalability when that use case actually bears fruit. And it's not a small improvement, it's a significant improvement. Just to throw a number out there, in our company General Protocols, we reduced our contract size by something like 40%. And we removed, 2-3 hashing and signature verifications, the most costly from a performance standpoint from our script altogether. It's a massive improvement in performance. I just want to make sure we don't downplay it when it's actually much more important than I think.
Listen to him. He knows. Yeah, it is. It really is a big deal, especially if you project to, like you said, people actually using all these useful features and actually using smart contracts, which they will, to do advanced things and to actually have products and protocols that let you do loans and recurring payments and savings accounts and all of that stuff on chain. Those will absolutely have a huge benefit from the upgrade today. That's true.
Guys, just to point out, there's only one block to go before the upgrade goes live. So
nice. Hey, I wanted to answer a question. I've seen a lot of people in the chat talking about mempool conflict. So I was going to use that to explain something real quick.
Yeah, sure.
What's happening is the QR code goes up there and everybody who scans it or clicks the link or whatever, you're basically, your wallet is making a transaction and trying to send it to the network. And everybody at the same time is sending a transaction to the network. But there's only one coin to be spent, right? And so 100 people are sending in a transaction to the network and saying, I want to spend that coin to my wallet. And only one person can get that, right? So the transaction comes into the network, and the first one, roughly speaking, that gets in is the network is like, okay, this is the one. And then all these other transactions are coming in, and the network's like, whoa, no, we can't accept all those because this coin is already spent. And when it says mempool, that's because you're trying to put something into the memory pool of the network. That's all the transactions that aren't in a block yet. And the mempool is saying, wait, there's a conflict with that transaction. And so only one person is able to get each one of those because it's actually a coin on the network that's getting spent. And on top of that, there's an interesting and kind of funny thing that's happening at the same time. The thing that I talked about before called double spin proofs. What that means is all those hundreds of requests coming in that to spin that coin are basically double spins. They're technically double spins. And so this is a great proof of just the fact that BCH is quite resistant to double spins, because all those double spins are getting rejected by the network. And not only are they being rejected, but the network is producing a thing called a double spin proof for every one of those. So everybody that's sending one in, the note is like, oh my God, this guy's trying to cheat so much. It's making like, 100 different proofs and then sending them around the network and being like, hey, watch out. Somebody's trying to double spin this coin. So yeah, the network right now is getting lit up by a pretty funny set of double spins. I hope everybody can win those. And I hope if somebody does win one of them, they're not trying to get another one. But yeah, let some of us people with slow network like I have, let us win some of those too.
It's the luck of the bits. There's a couple other. Sorry.
No, that's good.
There's a couple other questions that flew by in the chat. I'm going to brutalize your name, Consumerisme. The question is, will it exist an easier Cash Fusion application? So I guess is Cash Fusion going to get an upgrade? Anybody know?
Cash Fusion is so awesome. It doesn't need an upgrade. No, it doesn't. I don't think it specifically helps Cash Fusion. No,
nothing here. Cash Fusion is already very efficient for the use case it's doing. There's no introspection being done there, and also no integer math being done. So
what it would do is, I would say, if somebody wanted to make some smart protocols to set up Cash Fusion, it might make that easier now, like to do things to do the setup on chain. But
what about a more basic question? Are there improvements for Cash Fusion in the works as far as user experience?
I would say to add, because of these opcodes being available, there's going to be some infrastructure work done for wallets to support new types of wallet types. And I imagine in that work, we'll get much wider spread support for Cash Fusion, simply because when teams are working on that part of their wallet, there's a good chance they'll implement Cash Fusion too.
Yeah.
So that it does mean that we're likely to get more wallet adoption of Cash Fusion, kind of tangentially. But
regarding specifically any upgrades to Cash Fusion, actually, if you keep an eye on the Cash Fusion Telegram or Electron Telegram, you'll see it. Actually, it's been improving just step by step over time. People say, "Hey, we need to know how many fusions have happened." You didn't used to be able to know that. Now it tracks them, and you can see how many fusions your coin has been through. And then, I need to put a limit on it so it doesn't just fusion forever, which is awesome. You should actually just fusion forever because it's incredibly cheap, right? And it's amazing. But if you want to put a limit on it now, you can. You can say, okay, only do it 3 times or 15 times
6.
or whatever you want to put. Yeah, 6. Yeah, use the magic number.
Yeah.
Use 6. Or what's the other things? Yeah, so there's been a lot of improvements. It has a dust ignoring thing where if it gets to a certain threshold, it's just like, okay, we're good. We don't need to deal with too much dust once everything else is already fusioned. Also bigger tiers. So recently it became possible, much easier to fuse very large amounts. So you can have wallets that are, fusing 50 BCH coins, 100 BCH coins, doing the fusion thing, and you get to your inputs and your outputs, and you're all fused.
Poof, it's magic.
so it's fantastic, right? So you can have these huge coins that are getting fused, and everything down to very small coins can already be fused. So it's getting improved over time, just little bit by little bit.
Excellent, thank you. Hopefully that answers the person's question. There was another question from Chaos Grid. How do these new smart contract scripting features compare to other cryptos? Are we getting a similar feature set like Ethereum, or is that in another league?
I could probably speak to that. So the technical spec for these, I worked on for quite some time. Yes, I probably don't want to talk too much about specifics. There are a few other UTXO-based chains that do have somewhat similar operations. I'd say the short answer is for a lot of applications, it is going to developers now have many of the same tools that they would have in Ethereum in order to get to the completely the same level. I would say the proposal that we mentioned earlier, the cash tokens proposal, I would say would put Bitcoin Cash's contracting system on the same, actually on the same level or better than the EVM. I would say that the superiority being where you're able to have parallelized transactions, where Ethereum transactions are serially ordered for the whole network. And that is the EVM scaling issue right now. And there are some solutions to that. But in general, the UTXO model is significantly more scaling efficient, and cash tokens gets us similar power as you would have in the Ethereum virtual machine, but without giving up the UTXO scaling benefits. So this upgrade today is huge for a lot of real world use cases, but it is not the same sort of unlimited power that you get in the Ethereum virtual machine. I would say if you are curious, though, I definitely encourage you to go take a look at the cash tokens chip, which does give us that sort of power without giving up Bitcoin Cash's scaling.
Hey guys, Sheep, do you want to pre-announce a guest that we have coming on shortly?
Let's wait until he's here.
Yeah, fair enough. I would like to actually ask to some of you guys some questions. This one just for the group. I guess it's taking us back a little bit, but why did these chips, these two proposals that are being implemented today, beat out others that were proposed at the time?
Is Jonathan there?
Yep.
I was going to say Jonathan's hard work.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right.
I think.
Yeah.
Thanks for the answer, Jonathan.
I'm going to speak for him just for a second until he comes on and he can tell me to shut up. But so the answer is that there's a lot of ideas. There were a number of chips out there, and it doesn't mean that some of them were bad or some of them were necessarily better than others. But what it means is, like I explained before, the default, because we have to have stability and we can't be breaking things and we can't be splitting. And those things happen when there's uncertainty about how things are going to go. And the chip process allows us to greatly reduce that uncertainty. And the outcome of that is the default answer to, hey, I have a good idea, I want to make a change, is no, right? The whole ecosystem, and it's not me, it's not one person, it's not this dev team or something like that. It's not like that. It's that the point that has been kind of established is that the answer is no. And it's not because you have a bad idea, it's because you haven't proven that you have a really good idea that's worth implementing. And so getting something through the chip process requires a ton of work and requires communicating with a lot of people. and requires collecting information, collecting feedback, and showing that you've collected feedback, doing the technical work, doing the communication with various stakeholders. It's a lot of work, and it's not dev work, right? I mean, there is a ton of dev work that has to be done, but like the short answer is, like Jason said, Jonathan did a lot of work to make all of that actually happen. And he chose those. I'm going to speak for him a little bit. He might get on to me here because he can't, for some reason, he can't apparently. But the reason he did those two is because those are the most valuable next steps that he identified we can do. And like I said before, right? Like we've started rebuilding the inertia to actually build Bitcoin Cash into literally world scale money that will allow anyone to use it in a permissionless way. And building back up to that, he picked out these two as the most important next steps on that curve.
Yeah, they were definitely cream of the crop last year of the chips that were available to choose from. In November when there was lots of discussion in the ecosystem about it, and there are also chips from last year that I would say have advanced to the point where they are also on that level this year. And then there were some chips that were withdrawn in the meantime. Most notably the PMV3 one that I had proposed. Chips can be started fairly easily, but getting them across the finish line is a whole lot more work. And so those are the ones that made it. And also, did it just activate? Did it?
Oh, did we?
Yeah. Here's my reaction.
It did. Did we get the first block with the new rules, or is it just activated now?
I think so.
It's just activated, so the first block has yet to come.
No. Okay. Yes, I was wondering because I only saw it in the website here. I didn't see my logs.
We can still pretend that we were on time for the activation.
All right, sweet. So it'll be about 10 minutes from now.
So in theory now,
I have a question.
bunch of double spends because people are going to raise to spend that money.
Yeah,
the money that someone locked in that anyone can spend right now, it should be live.
Oh, that thing that Bitcoin Cash Altis was doing, that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Hey, Sunny, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just had a question. I'm not in the tech side, but is there one day that Bitcoin Cash and Smart Bitcoin Cash will be one, and it'll be just, you know what I'm trying to ask? That there'll be no more Bitcoin Cash and it'll just be one network of Smart Bitcoin Cash? Is there a possibility on that?
So
it's always going to be BCH and Smart BCH.
Yeah, there's two kind of answers to it. Technically, no, they will never be the same because they're completely different types of networks and they work in completely different ways. But there's eventually going to be a trustless bridge so that you can basically transparently send money from one side to the other side, or you can use a service to send money from one side to the other side. And if that's sufficiently trustless, you can just automate it. And from the user's perspective, they're the same thing. They don't really care that they're doing something on one network or the other one.
Yeah, and getting to that trustless bridge, I think there's still a little bit of distance.
Yes.
But some of the proposals, some of the chips for next year would make trustless sidechain bridges significantly more possible.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Jonathan, question for you. I know you work on cash accounts. I believe it was more of just like a demo to show what's possible. But I'm curious I'm curious. English is hard. Bear with me. I'm curious. I'm curious as if. Forget the English. I'm curious if you have any updates on it. If there's anything you'd like to state about it, or just introducing a little bit of the project, because it's very cool. But just like to know a bit more from you, since I believe you're one of the developers of it or creators.
You made it.
Yeah.
All right. So Cash Accounts is technically working and more or less final today. it hasn't taken off to the degree I was hoping that it would. And I think the largest factor to that is that it used a single address. And so you ended up with a bad privacy solution. There was a lot of work being done to set up a private reusable code, I think it was called, in which you could tie that to a cash account, and then it would use new addresses on every payment, and you would have the privacy and you would have the ease of having an account name. No wallet so far except Electron Cash has gotten close to actually implementing that. And on Electron Cash, there is a testing version that is technically functional, but it hasn't made it into the main version yet.
Those are called the RPA, the reusable payment address.
That's the other thing I wanted to mention. If you guys want to talk a little bit about the status of RPA, because I know Electron Cash has their alpha version of it working. It's a little slow, but it works and it's great. I'm curious as if you guys have any updates on that.
So the creator of that plan is IMU name, so we should get him back on here. Hopefully he'll come back and we can get him to talk about that. But
let's shoot him a message, see if he comes on. Mark, good to see you, man.
Hey guys.
Well,
how's it going?
Mark.
Give a quick intro to yourself. Give yourself a quick intro.
You're struggling, man.
I'm struggling today, guys. I apologize.
Hey, I do cryptocurrency videos and documentation, and I love Bitcoin Cash. I'm really excited about the upgrade. I want to learn more about it and what it means as far as what can you do with it. So maybe that's something you guys can tell me a little bit about in the stream. Sonny, also really great to see you, man. Hey, man, and really everyone here. It's great to see you guys.
Welcome aboard. There is a stream of requests in the chat. So for all of you who keep asking over and over and over again, meow. There you go.
No, Cheap. You also got to do the
Japanese version.
Sound of a Japanese cat. Yeah, there you go.
Meow, meow. There you go.
There we go. Beautiful.
Please leave me alone.
Mark, which part of the world you're in now?
I'm in space. I'm in my rocket, so I'm headed towards Saturn. But I launched from Japan, so.
Hey, tell the price to follow. Like, what's up with that?
I'm pulling it. I'm pulling it with me. Mark, you're muted.
Is Mark there? I'd love to hear what Mark is thinking about. You're on the ground, like how things are going and how people think about Bitcoin Cash and how they respond to it and what their feedback is and all of that. I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Oh, and Roger's also asking for Mark to tell us a little bit about his view of Sonny's adoption, or like, So both of them, please, if you don't mind, Mark.
Okay, two really great subjects, and I'll try to condense them as much as I can. I'll start with Sonny. Sonny is hard to condense into something short because what he's done in the Caribbean is just so overwhelmingly fantastic, not just for crypto, but for the futures of everyone living in the islands and really around the world. Pretty much single-handedly, he's onboarded nations. We're talking multiple large islands down there, and not just the Caribbean. He's also doing it in India, and that can really make a pretty big dent in the world. So one of the things is with Sonny, the way he's able to onboard is he really doesn't take no for an answer. He's not aggressive, but it's so friendly. Hey, let's do this. Let's get it done. Here, let's get it done. And a lot of people that I've seen on board can be a little reserved, or, the thing is, most people that I found around the world want to use Bitcoin Cash after you get through whatever the hurdle is in their mind of what the problem is, or they don't even understand it. And Sonny is really good at expressing what the hurdles are and getting people over those objections, and doing it in a way that's really, let's say, quick and efficient. So he's able to replicate that with everyone he speaks with. So I'm trying to think of any specific stories. I mean, the thing is, when I was there was never a dull moment. There were always new businesses he had. Most people, including me, would get kind of, you need to take a break every once in a while. This guy is not taking any breaks. So day after day, multiple businesses all coming on board, all throughout the Caribbean. I tried capturing some of it on my camera to do videos on, and I would fill out of my memory cards. It would be too much. So Sonny's doing really important work. My God, are we lucky to have him in the Bitcoin? The world is lucky to have Sonny in the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem. So he's invited me to India to capture some of the work that he's doing out there. So that's something that I'm going to be doing in the near future is documenting all the wonderful work Sonny's doing in India. So Sonny, dude, amazing. I can't wait to see you next.
What actually happened? Yeah, Mark, thanks, man. And Mark is doing the same. Actually, he's doing Florida right now. I follow all your videos, and Ryan. But what I believe in adoption most important is everybody wants crypto. They love the concept of Bitcoin Cash, except one more form of currency, but they're scared. They're scared. What if the tax office comes in India? What if the revenue department comes after me and asks me, why is this sticker on your door? Give me accounts. They just need a neck to catch. But once they know a face that they know, like, for example, Mark or me or you, and they'll say, okay, listen, I'm here. If anybody comes, it's just a mode of payment. Anyways, you accept cash. We have to just convince them this is as good as cash. That's what I stick to. My sentence is, this is cash. If I come to buy a watch from you and give you 10,000 cash, would you refuse it? And the answer is no. Then why would you refuse this? Just show it in your books as cash. We have convinced supermarkets. Mark has actually done it, like Divico, big places. And that helps in convincing all the small businesses, what do I do with my Bitcoin Cash? I'm like, you're a restaurant. You always need to buy Heineken beers or other beers. Go to the supermarket and they will take all your Bitcoin Cash. So that problem solves because people always think about ATMs. Why do I cash it? We are trying to tell them you don't need to cash it. You need to rotate it. You pay your staff will send it to India. You pay anybody else. You go to the supermarket, you spend vacations, you travel with it. I mean, it's more of having cash without carrying it. So that's actually one of the major things. We always have to tell the merchants, don't think about spending it. Don't think about cashing it. Think about rotating it. That way we increase the ecosystem.
That's funny. The just use it as money is funny because maybe if you've been in crypto a long time, that seems like an obvious thing. But yeah, I've had lots of people tell me like, wait, you're saying when I go to the store, I just buy things with it? And you're like, yes, yes, that's right. That's it.
Yes, you can do it. Everything in St. Kitts and St. Martin, and of course soon everywhere. It just takes time. But basically everything, literally there is nothing that you cannot do in the islands without Bitcoin Cash. It's everything from COVID tests to hotels, every single bar you can buy. I mean, people actually use it for $2. I have bars and people come and they buy a bottle of water at the airport, at the store, just a bottle of water for $2. And they are using Bitcoin Cash now because to put their hands in the pocket, take out a credit card or find the change is just easier to scan.
And, you know, in St. Kitts, I'll tell you some stories. So one of the things that happened when I was there is I went to go get a coffee at this little cafe. I can't remember what it's called, but it's in that downtown area by the Port Sante. And I went in there and I got a coffee and I paid with Bitcoin Cash. And I asked the guy, you know, has anyone come in and spent Bitcoin Cash? And I was expecting the answer to be yes, but mostly people that are tourists, mostly people that are, you know, coming off of the cruises. And he said, yeah, people are spending Bitcoin Cash. I said, okay, but are any locals spending Bitcoin Cash? He's like, yeah. What do you mean? So regular people who live on the island, locals, have Bitcoin Cash, are using it. There's an economy there that's happening. There's a circle. And man, is that impressive, because I thought it was just people getting off the boats. And that's a whole nother thing, the people that are getting off the boats and coming in. When you go to the airport, Sonny is so amazing because he has a duty-free shop at the airport in St. Kitts. So every single person who lands in that airport or leaves in that airport sees Bitcoin Cash everywhere they look. It's on water bottles, it's on monitors, it's on signs, it's on stickers. And I was sitting at the bar, and now the bar is closed at your place. Well, you can have beers there. But I was sitting there, and we had other people that came in, and they sat down, and I could overhear their conversation at Sunny's duty-free business at the airport, talking about Bitcoin Cash. And here's a true story. One of the gentlemen that was sitting there, as an older guy, was talking, and I had a conversation with him. And it turns out that he works in the banking industry and met with a central bank in St. Kitts. And the woman, this is a true story, 100% true. The woman who he met with at the central bank, can't remember her name, was complaining about Bitcoin Cash because it's too cheap to send. He's like, what are we going to do about this?
Hey,
I mean, this is...
Oh, we got the new block. We got the activated block, by the way.
Oh, we finally got it.
We got the block.
Yeah, we got it.
Congrats, everybody.
Yay.
So I
Thank
think
you, Jonathan.
actually
Thank you,
going to
everybody.
be going back soon now that that block has completed. That's at least what he notified to me. So hopefully we can ask him about RPA when he returns.
Awesome. That is an awesome story, Mark. I love that.
Yeah, Mark. The work you do is incredible. Thank you so much. And it's so much fun to watch you travel around the globe and actually document this stuff. It's fantastic.
I wanted to mention something that's kind of in line with the stuff that Sunny and Mark were saying, because we may have a lot of listeners or people watching this who, think, why Bitcoin Cash? Because it's been attacked a lot over the years. And I think the answer is not that we're Bitcoin Cash maxis, so to speak. It's more like Bitcoin Cash does exactly what we want, and it does it better than anything else. And we, for example, with general protocols, we build on Bitcoin Cash because it does what we want, and it does it better than anyone else, than any other chain does. That's why we use it. It's that we don't use it because of some kind of just philosophical reason or whatever. So it's not that there's anything against any other chain or any other crypto, but for the purposes that we're talking about, for what we're using it for payments and for running a business and for, banking, as the banker is probably upset, as you said, it does the job the best. That's why we promote it, and that's why we use it.
Hear, hear.
And there are brands now. I'm just taking the mic. There are brands like Philip Plain, big designer brands. I mean, Gucci is just coming in news that they might accept it. I don't know if they started already, but there are brands like Philip Plain, and they actually give you a 10% off when you pay with Bitcoin Cash. Oh. I mean, it's difficult at this time to spend Bitcoin Cash when you want to hold it, but it's actually an incentive that we should do, Mark, and we should actually now get all the merchants that we onboard is, why should I use Bitcoin Cash? Is you get a little discount off like Philip Plain is giving. That's amazing. And I tried it and it worked amazing. It comes to India. They ship it for you. They pay duties and special discounts only for crypto. That's how the world is actually going. I just read news yesterday. Emirates is going to start accepting crypto as well directly on its platform. They already this legit news. So I think major brands are coming into it. And that's what we should do for the merchants is offer incentive. That's my next step now. For the merchants, spend with Bitcoin Cash, and like how you have the priority pass or some other passes and get a discount. And this should be the next step. Encourage people more. Exactly what Purse.io is doing. Get 15% off. I think more and more people now coming to the stores to buy Bitcoin Cash is because they want to just buy Amazon and get 15% off. But that's any reason. It's still circulating. It's nice for them to have a wallet.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
We have a special guest here. Hopefully his camera will turn on in a moment.
Oh, yes.
MP Brison.
Fantastic.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Welcome.
Not bad. How are you?
Hello from beautiful Martin. Hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for inviting me. A bit last minute. Sorry for crashing the party. You guys are doing a great job explaining all the technical stuff. But I just, if I had the opportunity to tell you guys, keep up the amazing work. We're feeling it right here in St. Martin so much in ways you have no idea, and the rest of the Caribbean, So it's always good to support anything Bitcoin Cash related.
That's great. I don't know if do you guys do you guys in chat have any questions for what's going on?
Yeah, let's get an intro. I don't think people realize what's going on.
Yeah, actually, give it.
Who are you?
Really
Why are you here?
Who is this strange man that just joined this chat?
Well, I am. For those that might not know, my name is Rolando Brison. I'm a member of Parliament and the majority leader in the Parliament of St. Martin. I guess I became well known in the community due to my decision to accept my entire salary in Bitcoin Cash, the first elected representative to do so. And also, kind of like how Mark was explaining earlier, a lot of it has to do with the momentum that Bitcoin Cash has in the Caribbean, really because of its use. You know, I wouldn't accept my salary in currency that I couldn't do groceries in. I couldn't do transactions in. I even posted a video the other day where, you know, I took my girlfriend out to a nice dinner. I wanted her to have some fresh lobster and steak, surf and turf, and we paid for the entire thing in cash. You know, it has become a surging currency within the region because it's just, put very simply, easy and fast. That is what people in the Caribbean need. And the best way for me to explain it, you know, you have to realize, most of you guys, you have PayPal, you have Cash App, you have all Venmo, all of these different things. You have to understand that is pretty much non-existent in the Caribbean for many reasons. One is that those companies look at the Caribbean as small, separate islands where it's not profitable for them to really establish here. Our central banking systems across the Caribbean are not conducive to it. They want to keep the traditional structures alive because they make a whole lot of money from it. And I came in an elected mandate from my people to bring financial freedom, to find new ways to really get them the financial freedom they deserve. You know, people in the Caribbean, especially St. Martin, is very multicultural. So you have people here from Jamaica, from Haiti, from St. Kitts, from all over. And what hurts me is that when I drive and I pass by Western Union, now when last have you guys heard of a Western Union? Well, in St. Martin, in the Caribbean, Western Union have long lines as someone's boarding a flight. You know, people stand for hours in line just to send $100 back home to an elderly person or family member in need. That's where we're stuck, you know, but Bitcoin Cash has opened new doors where people are installing the app, they're trading their fiat into Bitcoin Cash, and they can easily trade amongst one another. So, of course, it's not without its resistance. I heard Mark say the central bank. I can give you guys some really crazy stories about the central bank, you know, with their concerns and their reactions to what is happening. But the good news is that, you know, my parliament has not been in support of any legislation that would lead to, you know, central bank over control. We do have legal tender legislation for Bitcoin Cash. It's on the way. We do want some regulation, you know, just more from an educational perspective to make sure people understand what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is. I think that's the usefulness of legislation. But I always told the director of the central bank, if you can't get the banking sector in order, how do you, me and my parliament, to support having you have oversight over crypto? So it's still a tough fight. There's still a lot to do to get the word out there. The educational aspect is very important. And live streams like this, whenever I see anything like this, I immediately share it on my pages, on my social media, so more Caribbean people can get involved and learn about Bitcoin Cash and the benefits of it and why it's important to the region. I made a tweet yesterday where I said, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Satoshi was of Caribbean or African descent, because if there's two regions more than anything that can make use of peer-to-peer, cheap, fast transactions, it's definitely the people of the Caribbean and Africa, and it's billions of us, and we need it more than ever. So yeah, that's my little intro. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to chat, happy to interact with you guys anytime.
Thank you very much. Would love to see it. Love to see people taking steps to create a closed loop economy. And of course, you know, getting your salary in BCH is a huge incentive to keep the economy going. And promoting BCH with all the local businesses is fantastic. Hopefully, we can all come and visit, and we can all come and spend our BCH someday soon.
You know, there's even a local airline that's about to accept directly, not even via like a third party. But there's a local airline, SXM Airways, St. Martin Airways, that's going to be accepting. I mean, it's really, you know, even amid, you know, some of the market uncertainty recently, what people are saying is that, you know, it doesn't affect us the same way it might affect the rest of the world, because people are transacting on Bitcoin Cash kind of on a daily basis. So if I have $100 and I need to send it to someone, or I need to pay someone, they maybe go to one of the local Bitcoin Cash ATMs, or two local exchanges are establishing themselves. They take it at the price it is today, and they transfer it to the person at the price it is today. So price volatility, when you use Bitcoin Cash as a tool for what it's meant to be, peer-to-peer, easy, fast transactions, price volatility doesn't affect you as much, because you're making the transaction on a day-to-day basis. So what the price is today is what the price is today. And then tomorrow, if I exchange another set of fiat because it's at the moment, I need to change it and then send it out. That's the attitude you get a lot in the Caribbean. So that's something I think maybe people haven't realized, that the peer-to-peer nature of BCH kind of helps with any sort of volatility fears, because you only change what you need, how much you need at a time. Something that is unfortunate, like even I think in reaction to some of my efforts here, the banking sector has actually introduced a $7.50 fee on ATM withdrawals. Because I suspect, of course I can't prove it, but I suspect that they saw more people withdrawing fiat from the traditional banking sector ATMs. They'll withdraw $100, they would go to a Bitcoin Cash ATM, and then they would send with their own freedom that $100 at the moment that they need. And now all of a sudden, we see a $7.50 per transaction. So not even a percentage, it's per transaction. That's I've never heard of ATMs being that high. I've heard of $3 or $4, $7.50, the most expensive place in the world now. You know, so it's a sign that the banking sector isn't going to take this laying down. And we as elected representatives, you as the people in the space, we need to stick to our guns and know that what we're doing is better for the future of so many people. And no matter what the traditional banking sector is going to do, I don't think they can stop this.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so since you can actually pay for food and living and most of your things there now in Bitcoin Cash, eventually people are gonna say that I want my income in Bitcoin Cash. And when that happens, the banking sector isn't involved anymore.
That's it.
And that's when you have freedom.
Yep, indeed. You know, that's why I also did what I did. You know, you have to lead by example, you know, especially in small communities. People look up to me. You know, I'm one of the youngest, you know, elected representatives that has become a leader of a large political party. And I didn't get elected by people that wanted me to keep the status quo. You know, when I first got elected, a lot of people never used to vote. But I went for the people that didn't vote and said, why are you not voting? It's because, we're not seeing changes in the Caribbean. We see a worse banking sector. We see people that just want to keep the status quo. And I have a mandate for my voters: disrupt, change, you know. So I'm doing exactly what I believe my voters asked me to do. And everywhere I go, man, like the love I get, not just in the Caribbean, but it's pretty, I never expected that it would have gone to this extent where, you know, so many articles around the world. I've met so many people. You know, I was recently at DevConnect in Amsterdam to learn more to meet developers, to learn. I'm hungry for knowledge when it comes to the crypto space. So I really, I love this community as well. You know, everyone you talk to, you get a pure sense of a mission to want to change things. You have to understand how refreshing that is for a politician. When I normally walk into a room with a developer of a hotel or the banks, it's all for profit, need margins and interest rates. And in this community, all I hear is, let's make things better. You know, let's give financial freedom. Let's make a better world. Let's give more people access to money. Amazing. It's such a great community, and you guys deserve so much credit for that. I don't think without everyone that is out there believing in it and spreading that Bitcoin Cash love, it wouldn't be as successful as it is today. That's my analysis as a newcomer. So sometimes it's good for you guys to see an outsider looking in that kind of comes in and sees that these type of efforts here is what helps the community so much.
Absolutely. I mean, but it's from everyone, from people like our developers, people like you. It's everyone coming together, which is what makes this community and this platform so great. Actually, Imaginary, I'd like to bring you in now.
Hey.
If you can enlighten us a little to RPA, because I think this is actually going to be great for Mark and Sunny.
Before we do that, could you tell us, like, I've been a little bit distracted here watching all the upgrades, like, check mark that everybody's reporting that things are working fine, but Unim probably knows better than anybody. Could you give us a quick rundown on everything that you see that's working and how it's going?
So pools, there doesn't seem to be any laggards at the pools. We actually we were actually in a monitoring room with some of them just a little while ago. So in terms of mining, that's good. And in terms of exchanges, I think we are also at least the ones that we could contact are also entirely good. There were unfortunately two notable laggards, and they're neither exchanges nor pools, but explorers. So people who are looking at Blockchain or Blockchain.com might have noticed that their block count and transactions are lagging behind. So
I just got in touch with Blockchain, so hopefully that'll get resolved.
Yeah. So that shouldn't be a huge problem. And we are contacting them to upgrade to catch up ASAP. But otherwise, it's entirely uneventful.
And also on top of that, what I've seen is the Bitcoin Verde node has upgraded fine. BCHD node upgraded fine. BCHN is fine.
BU has upgraded fine.
Okay, awesome. BU.
Yeah,
I guess Knuth. I don't know. I haven't heard about Knuth, but I assume.
I don't have a node, so I don't know.
Yeah. So sweet. So it's green lights all over.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So mostly.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Mostly.
Good. That was great. That was a great update.
Yeah. Insight.bitpay.com is up. BTC.com, BCH.tokenview.com is up, and chaingraph.cash.
Yeah.
If you're looking for block explorers or APIs right now.
Great. All right. So, Imaginary, care to tell us a little bit about RPA, reusable payment addresses? Because I think this is something that's going to be big for businesses and something that Mark and Sunny could definitely, that might be very interesting for them if they're familiar or to become more familiar, because useful tool.
Okay, so basically, it is I don't know how many of you guys have read the specs, but I will go through like the very short story of what it actually does for a user and why it's important. So payments on Bitcoin and also all the cryptocurrencies are generally paid to addresses, which are a hash of the public key. To put it in an easier to understand term, hash of a public key that allows the guy who's holding the private key to unlock the coins that's sent to him. So using this system has a couple problems. So if I tell people that, okay, this is my address, and tell people, okay, for all future payments, you can just send to this address, it's mine, then whoever watching that address can tell how many coins you have got. And that is pretty bad. That is not ideal. You don't want people to, generally speaking, you don't want any Joe on the street to know what kind of income situation you have, especially if you use the same address for everywhere, and especially if you link that address to some other identity scheme like cash accounts or LNS or ENS or something like that. So in order to not have that problem, what we usually do today is that we have a wallet. The wallet generates a lot of addresses. And then every time you request a payment, you grab a new address from the pile, and then you give it to that person and say, okay, send to this address exactly one time. We will use some other address next time. That is a lot better. And there is a lot of, if you do that, then there is a lot of privacy schemes that proceeds to obfuscate your coins in order for people to not link them together, like Cash Fusion is the prominent one on BCH. But that scheme has an obvious problem, which is that you have to interact with the guy you are dealing with every time you make a payment, and then you have to use a different kind. You have to use a different address for each person, and people can't really do this if they want to pay to some identity that you have. As opposed to addresses, they can't tell each other, I'm gonna pay Alex. I would just send to Alex, and this thing would automatically have all the privacy guarantees that you have. We can't do that. So RPA is a scheme to address that. Basically, there are several similar schemes. One of the more prominent ones is BIP47, and the other is stealth addresses. RPA is an improvement from this two. Is an improvement from this too, but fundamentally they all use crypto magic to get around the problem, and so to enable schemes where you can just have a string that remains constant, you post that, and people use a compatible wallet to pay to that string, and then magically you preserve your privacy. So that is basically the reason it exists in a nutshell. All right.
I just have a quick question about what you said about the payment address. Recently, I just downloaded. They have this LNS.BCH domain, and I was not able to get my name, but I got it, Sunny, with the extra y.bch. Now, the question is, even if I change the address, the BCH address, my wallet address that's linked to it, so still people can actually figure out, right? Whatever money's right. To Sunny.
Right. Yes. So right now, without RPA, that is exactly how the LNS works. It's linked to an address. It's linked to a address in your wallet. So, if you have, sunny.bch, and so everybody who pays who knows you have to handle sunny.bch can just check that address and see how much has been paid into sunny.bch, which is not an ideal situation. And that is what RPA aims to solve.
But even if I change the linked address, people can still watch because I'm just changing the linked address. Sunny.bch remains the same. So at the end, they can still track it.
Well, if you change that, presumably you have to do it on the smart BCH blockchain, and that change is public, right? So people can go there and see where you have change it to. So it's just one more step to link it all together. So informatically, it's still linkable.
Still the same. Right. Understood.
Yeah. So just in case anybody missed the magic there, the magic is that you can provide a single name, like imaginary username hash 33974, whatever, and you can always use that name, and people can use that like an email address. But the magic is every time they send money to it, the two wallets that know how to use those addresses are going to be. They have this basically magic. It looks like magic, the way the scheme works, so that they can send them to a new address every time. And so to the outside world, they don't know what's going on. They have no idea that these two transactions are between these two people.
That's pretty cool.
There's just no way for them to see it. Yeah.
All right. So just want to welcome Bitcoin Jason here. Just if you want to give a quick 30, 60-second introduction to yourself.
Yeah, okay. I'm Bitcoin Jason. I'm originally from the Gold Coast. Moved up to Townsville, known as the Bitcoin Cash City. During COVID, basically we were forced out of work. We were all locked down. And so I started Bitcoin Cash adoption type stuff. I went out and tried to get shops to get on board and stuff like that. There's a lot of people out of work. So we had a lot of people out of work that had running out of money fast. So we thought, let's try and employ these nurses or these teachers and stuff like that by giving them a chance to advertise their services using Bitcoin Cash. And that led to one thing to another. Now I'm doing full-time adoption here in Townsville. So it's been great. Little bit of a rough week this week with the whole Terra Luna. Lot of phone calls at all types. A lot of phone calls, a lot of questions. But yeah, we got over 150 merchants here, and I live 100% on Bitcoin Cash. So the only time I have cash is if I at a restaurant or something like that, and someone pays for me and I pay them in Bitcoin Cash. But other than that, I live totally on Bitcoin Cash. You can get a gym membership for a year and a helicopter ride for about the same sort of Satoshi. So it's all good.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm just really blessed. We've got a few technology company here, Aptismo and Code Valley here. And man, so it's like being a fly on the wall and seeing what they're coming up with is just like, I am so excited to go to work tomorrow. So, or today, it's actually nearly 1 o'clock.
Yeah, right. Hey, actually on that point, everybody, I'm gonna take off. I've been live streaming for about 6 hours. I'm a little bit tired. I'm gonna go get some dinner at 1 a.m. And
how dare you? How dare you?
How could you leave us like this?
It was such a good time.
A few
to
more
talk
minutes,
with you guys.
Chief, before John leaves, everyone in the chat has been requesting another meow. So you gotta give it to John.
Okay,
give him a good parting gift.
Okay, John, this one's for you. Meow.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for joining.
Congratulations on the upgrade.
You too.
People love the meows.
Indeed they do. You're quite famous, man. Quite famous.
I deny all the rumors. There we go. I did not shoot JFK. That was not me. Well, I guess Marc is letting us know a little bit of an inside scoop here. Marc, would you like to announce to the world what you just told me?
Sure. So over the last couple months, I've been traveling around, and I did go to the Monero convention and the Bitcoin convention, and one of the things I remember from the Monero convention specifically was there was a presentation being given by a developer, one of the Monero developers, and they were going to implement some change to Monero that I can't understand at all. But in the audience, one of the people at the end asked a question that the developer said, you know what, you're right. We're going to do it completely different. And of course, I don't understand any of the technical stuff of that. But what struck me was the fact that had that conference not happened, the development of the coin would be different. The future of it would have shifted. So having that face-to-face was so powerful because it affected not just the chain, but also it galvanized people. It got everyone excited about Monero and the project. Merchants were there selling, and I said, you know, this is extremely valuable. So it struck me that Bitcoin Cash should have a conference. And I've been in the background contacting people like Mr. Rolando Brison and Roger and a few other people, and just kind of working out, is this something we could do? So it looks like it is. So I'd love to invite everyone to go to bitcoincash2022.com. In the next couple of weeks, tickets will go on sale, and we'll be having the first Bitcoin Cash conference in at least 1 or 2 years since I've gotten in. I'm actually speaking to Mr. Brison over here, who's kind of giving the thumbs up. So I don't know if you had any words about where we should hold our conference.
Well, of course, I will be biased and say St. Martin would be a great host for such a conference. I've already been in Mark about it. We're happy to host it and invite all of you here for this Bitcoin Cash conference. St. Martin does a lot of different conferences, and I think it's fitting with our stance with Bitcoin Cash. Would be great to have everyone here. So, Mark, you have my support any way we can do to assist and facilitate this, and welcome the Bitcoin Cash family to St. Martin. We're here for you.
So I'll see all of you down in St. Martin, November 12th and 13th. Tickets will go on sale in the next couple of weeks.
Wow, fantastic.
Is there social media we can follow in the meantime for this event? Or
I'll be posting pretty soon a video. I wasn't going to announce this today, but since everyone was here and we have all this great stuff going on, I figured I'd kind of ruin the surprise, I guess, because there's a tension. But I'll put out like a formal video and VSL, and it'll be flashy. So that'll come in the next week or two. But I'm just giving a little bit of a preview before the main event, so to speak.
Great.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Can't wait. I will absolutely be there. That sounds like an incredible event. Cannot wait.
I have to agree. Conferences.
I'm going to do my best to get there.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to get there too. I had a great time down in Townsville in the Bitcoin Cash City, and I've been looking forward to another conference ever since, but, world circumstances kind of messed things up.
Yes, that is really why I ended up getting involved in the BCH community is the conference that was held in Tokyo. Before meeting people at the conference here in Japan, I really thought that I was just a merchant and there was nothing I could do in the community to help. And
hey guys, real quick, just want to say a quick thank you to Rolando and also to Imaginary, who I think already hopped off.
No, I'm right. I want to say goodbye and thank you so much for having me, and stay in touch. You can follow me at MP Brison, and we'll continue to follow this awesome community. Thank you guys for inviting me so much.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Right.
Sorry.
I'll actually have to hop off as well, but thank you all very much. It's been fun chatting. If anybody needs to, I'll be around a little bit on Telegram and Twitter if anybody has any questions. And congrats on the upgrade, y'all.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Talk to you soon.
Sorry, Cheap. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Just want to say thank you.
BCH good. I don't remember where I was.
BCH good. BTC bad.
BCH good. No, yeah, the conference. Yes. So I just thought, I'm a merchant. There's nothing I can do. What is little old me going to do to help? And I met so many amazing people, and they were so inspirational. And I met my co-organizer, Umino, for the Osaka meetup. And she said to me, "Hey, we're both in Osaka. Why don't we start a meetup?" And from there on, it was just we're off to the races. So yep, I really hope I can attend. I love the vibe, and I'm really excited. Alex, how many QR codes do we have left?
No, that's a secret.
This is a secret. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a secret. It could be the last one, or there might be two more. Who knows? Or one more. I don't know. But there could be half.
Well, I ask because we are already over time. So.
well, that was indeed the last one.
Okay.
I believe we went through all the links as well, right?
Yes. Yes, the links are all done as well. So from just saying that right now, all of our viewers are just going to drop right there. Boom. No more money. Bye, everyone.
Oh no, we lost 5. Oh, only 4 gone.
That's okay.
All right, perfect on June.
Yeah. Does anybody have any final thoughts they want to share? I guess we can keep talking all night if you want to keep going, but.
Well, let me just say this real quick, because two things. One, someone asked about the vaccine requirements. There are none. So come to St. Martin. Even now, just go and check out the ecosystem that Sunny pretty much has single-handedly built. The second thing is tickets will only be available in Bitcoin Cash. We won't take any other currency.
Nice.
So I don't know. Someone asked, will you accept Bitcoin Cash as money? Yes, only that.
Are you going to take credit cards?
No. It's Bitcoin Cash. It's the Bitcoin Cash.
No. I know. I'm just making a joke as for BTC 2022. They accept credit cards.
Actually, it's funny. I put up today, this morning, my new video on the Bitcoin conference went up, BTC conference. And if you want to see how a conference with a lot of money and a lot of resources could do everything wrong, you can watch that video. Pretty funny. By the way, Sunny and everyone out there, I haven't invited all the speakers yet. So if I didn't contact you, just because I wasn't going to announce it today. So I will be reaching out to have you and people as the speakers. But we do have Rolando and Roger Veer so far. So anyway, that's enough out of me.
I have a question. What exactly happens in a Bitcoin Cash conference? What do we have? We do have booths, or we just have speakers? People who will visit will be local residents, or people all over the Bitcoin Cash community from the world will come? What's more to it?
So it's a 2-day conference. Day 1 is us, people in the community, to come and to talk. But what's really exciting is on day 2, day 2 is on Sunday. So we're going to have a Bitcoin Cash Bazaar, where in the morning, from 9 to noon, we're going to have merchants, local merchants who want to set up a booth there, who can sell whatever they want to sell. Anyone can fly in and get a booth. And that'll be a time when you actually spend your Bitcoin Cash, and a great chance for people in the community to come to the event and see Bitcoin Cash being spent and also learn about it. So that part of the event obviously will be free and open to everyone.
That's the perfect destination because they have 0% paperwork, 0% duties, is 100%. The whole island is duty free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fantastic. 33-hour flight, but I'll do my best.
Best to get a passport now, eh?
Sure, yeah.
And one thing about St. Martin is every single hotel in St. Martin, every single, is 100%, how you call it, time sharing. So it's all inclusive. You have the choice to wear a band, and from breakfast till dinner till drinks, everything is included. So for people to come, they can actually make a special budget whenever Mark deals with them. There all the resorts there are time sharing. So it's like an all-inclusive package that they can offer to everybody. That's one thing about St. Martin. Every single resort is timeshare.
Amazing.
That's great. Let's see. So does anyone have any other thoughts? Anything else they want to share? Any developments? I mean, we've heard quite a bit from some fantastic people.
Well, I wanted the small things. I have a list. I'm sure Mark has it too little to mention here. But if any of the developers think, we have the cash register app that doesn't tilt. I want that to be straight back. So when we have the people with the tablets or the iPads or whatever, and they're using the cash register, they actually have the tablet to straighten up. So that's something we need to do ASAP. Besides Mark Lamb integrating the Flex coin to it,
We
actually
made
an open. Oh, sorry. After you, Vince.
Sorry, man. I don't know if you see it. We made these tablet stands for our merchants here. So they basically go like that, nice sturdy tablet stands. So that's what is that what you meant, Sonny? Something like that?
No. I meant like the when you the Android cash register application. it doesn't. I don't know how to say it, Mark. It doesn't flip.
Landscape mode. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
landscape
got,
mode. Sorry, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. That's a big one. Especially with POS systems that use Square, like they have like a iPad already, and they use their Square on there. The exit out there use the Bitcoin Cash Register app, but it's on portrait mode instead of landscape, which is a bit of a, you know.
So it should be an easy fix. I mean, it's all open source. The project, anyone can contribute to it on GitHub. It's been a while since I've touched mobile applications, so I don't think I'm the best person to do it. But yeah, we definitely should find someone to fix that, because that's a great point. Like it needs to go to landscape. It really does. I never even thought of that, because I've only ever used it on phones. Haven't used it on tablets quite yet. So that's interesting. We don't have that, but hopefully I'll try and reach out to the community, see if we can't get someone to update that functionality.
Can devs do something?
I'm sorry?
I said, can devs do something?
Hope so.
Actually, I see a lot of mentions of the groups, a lot of mentions about this. And then I think even Bitcoin Jason mentioned it somewhere where they're working on it. I'm sure he's onboarding a lot, and Mark is facing the same issue. But that's just one of the few things. It's the last thing to work on, but it's very important, because the tablet things are important now, because before otherwise it's about giving away a tablet, but people do have the tablets. Now the adoption is actually growing worldwide. In India, all the restaurants already have a iPad or an Android tablet or some things, but if it really flips like that, it's tough.
Yeah.
Or maybe an APY or something where someone can just plug it into their checkout thing. So instead of pressing credit card, they hit Bitcoin Cash and it comes up with the screen and it comes up. I don't know, that's maybe something else, but yeah, at least having landscape mode, that would help me out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish we had Roger on still, because I'm sure he would have known the right person to contact to get that done rather quickly. But
we informed him. He's helping. He's said they're working on it.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know about you, Sonny. Did you have? We got a car company here that does regos and fits out your 4-wheel drives for alterations. They were asking to have a place where they can put what the invoice in, like what the amounts for their bookkeeping, and yeah, that's something I haven't been able to solve.
Can you please repeat it?
Okay, so you're at a shop, right? Just say someone's come in and they're paying an invoice. You want to be able to put in the invoice number or the details on the register app as a note for the transaction that the customer's paid. Does that make sense?
We are using it more as a cash, right? That's why the name is cash. So we are trying to let the customer decide if he really wants to use it as a cash or a banking system. So I think we should let their point of sale. That's my personal view. We should let their point of sale handle it, where they want to show it or not show it, or whatever they want to do with it. But putting it on the note means documenting it, and then you want to decentralize it. So I don't know how much that really works in the benefit.
Right. Because I live off Bitcoin Cash. So we have some merchants that are basically declaring their whole earnings to the tax department. And so they would put down, okay, this is for that, or whatever, goes through.
But in the point of sale, it is there. So in St. Martin also, they have the option where you check out and it says credit card, cash, check, and it says Bitcoin Cash. So for their developer, just adding one button, and when their receipt prints out, it says 2 cases of Heineken paid by Bitcoin Cash. So whoever wants to have that can actually do it. But to put it on this is basically it's going to ask everybody then, right? That's what you meant?
Yeah, no, just for the bookkeeping point of view, for the merchant, is if someone comes in and the owner's not there, the staff's filled it out, they can see, oh yeah, Joe Smith actually paid invoice on this date. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
the electron. So we did that with actually Electron Cash. That app has the accounting version. So we faced a lot of problems where the companies wanted to watch the transaction for the accounts, but nothing to do with it. So Roger sent me a nice video, and then I think Mark has it still. And then in that app, the accounting department can download it, and they will just be able to watch the transactions. So at the end of the day, whatever transactions are with Bitcoin Cash, they actually get a separate printout or whatever it is, attach it to. It's very easy, to be honest. It was difficult in the first couple of downloads, then life became easier. So that is what you should look into for them. And it's very helpful.
And actually what you're talking about, I think, is the Electron cash read-only. So yeah, so to make things easy, I created a PDF that will be on use.cash this week that has the instructions that are written in plain English with screenshots with every step of the way that we can provide to merchants. Whenever you onboard them, just give them this PDF, and it's detailed instructions for their accounting team. So we now have that'll be available on use.cash this week.
Because also the shift timings for the cashiers, whenever they shift every 8 hours, it's very important for them to close the cash, and then there is no way they can feel it because the actual wallets is because it goes to the owners. The owners are never present in the business. So the accounting department really needs, and if Mark, you are doing it, it's amazing because that's what every single business, because I think now Bitcoin Cash is growing more than the single owners. Before we were just limited to small businesses or restaurants or bars, but now more and more corporates are coming in the picture where there are multiple owners, there are corporate firms, there's a Hilton accepting it, Burger King started it, there are other chains we are talking to, and I think by 2022, let's just hope every single food chain and franchise accepts it. So this will play a very major role in that accounting, where every 8 hours they can close their cash. A person have no access to the funds either to send or receive, but actually get a printout on the Electron Cash or any other app that's created. Currently it's Electron, and manage the accounts. It's really helpful.
Yeah, because we've got we've got like some guys that have partnerships with several different businesses. And so, you have one key guy, but he's in business with a lot of different people. It'd be good to, because I'm actually going to streamline their business next week, actually. No, this week. Yeah, this week coming. And you mentioned that you had Burger King or something like that. Burger King on board with Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, we have Burger King and Thinkits accepts it. The Hilton brand accepts it. We have other brands coming to yes.
Is that like a franchisee that's just gone rogue and doing his own thing and then balancing, like underwriting himself? Or is like that the whole chain?
No, it's Thinkits. So the franchisee in Thinkits accepts it. Again, Bitcoin Cash is like they're taking it as cash. So whenever the sales come in, for now they are punching it as cash until next week, where it will actually be punched in as Bitcoin Cash for their accounting. So they own multiple businesses, other places. They have a Levi's store in St. Martin as well. So these are franchises that we are happy to onboard when it comes to, and more will follow, because first Burger King now accepts it. Now you go to any other Burger King, other islands or countries, it's just saying they accept it. So one step further.
Yeah, I'm working on Domino's at the moment, just doing a trial case for one from my local area. Actually, it's just across the road, trying to get them on board. But I found it's a lot of hoops that you got to go through. You got to, you got the gatekeeper, but you got to get to the decision maker right up far end there, and you got to go through all this chain of command.
The key to onboard a business like Domino's or Burger King is to not to speak to anybody. Straight go to the decision maker, because everybody else is going to be just a waste of time. It has to be the decision maker, either the CFO, CEO, or the owner. That'll make life easier. And initial onboarding in any countries with major franchises, to get the keys is to get to the owners. They are the decision makers. So any other person, just because same thing for the accounting, it's very complicated, and they will say, how do we handle the fluctuations? How do we show the sales? We go into which wallets? So that's why it's the Electron comes in place and the wallets.
Mm-hmm.
But life will become easier once Flex USD integrates it, and people can actually download it straight to the stable coins. That thing, I think for franchises, we need that. That's why we've been pushing Mark Lamb for it.
Hey, question for Sonny and Mark. Do you guys ever have a merchant stop accepting Bitcoin Cash for one reason or another? And care to share any details on maybe why that was, or how going forward, how people can onboarding merchants can work to address these issues?
So I'll jump in because I have a little anecdote about this that has a happy but funny ending. So long time ago, I did a video when I first was learning about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. This is years ago. Surviving 72 hours in Philadelphia. It was my first time actually using crypto as money because I didn't know you could. And in the video, I discovered a small restaurant called Sun Pig that was in my video.
Yeah.
And I went there and they accepted some cryptos, but they didn't accept Bitcoin Cash. So I onboarded them. It's the first business I ever onboarded. And I paid for my meal in Bitcoin Cash. And they jumped on Twitter and started tweeting out, hey, we're accepting Bitcoin Cash now, and everything was great. And after I did my video, everything was perfect. But at some point, I don't know if it was like a couple months later, I noticed that they weren't following me on Instagram anymore, because I would see who views my story and they weren't viewing it. And I checked and they weren't following me. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird, but whatever. Time went on and someone contacted them. And I don't know if it's someone here.
That was me.
That was you.
I contacted you, yeah.
Okay, so you got to tell the rest of the story.
All right, yeah. So I contacted them because John Moriarty and I we run the Philadelphia Bitcoin Cash meetup group, and we're looking to do our first in-person event after quite a while due to all the COVID lockdowns. And so we knew that Mark had onboarded this place, and I was like, oh, this would be a great spot, outdoors, seating, fantastic. And so I contacted them, and they gave quite the harsh reply. It's like, we accept every crypto, just not Bcash. And I was kind of taken aback by that. I tried to get a bit more info. It seemed to be the wife of the owner or someone. It's been a little while now, so I don't remember exactly who that was talking like that. And I was just genuinely asking, so, hey, so what's with the change of heart? Why not? I know you guys used to. Mark had been there and purchased from you guys, and we'd like to do a meetup. I mean, we could have 20, 30, even more people potentially. Mm-hmm. And at that point, they started to change their tune once they realized they could be missing out on business. And I told them, no, that the stance has been made clear. I'll have you guys removed from app.bitcoin.com. Don't want to be falsely advertising you guys. This is what you guys wanted. Because they were, if anything, they'd only probably accept it for the one event. And then you go back to their same thing. And part of what I suspect, which I haven't seen necessarily happen to have businesses reverse decisions, but is that if a business starts posting about Bitcoin Cash, sometimes you'll have BTC maximalists come on board and start either threatening them or just blasting them with comments and otherwise, and businesses don't necessarily know what to do. And I mean, that's the extent of my knowledge with it. We're still looking for another place, though. We've been quite busy on other projects, but that's at least fair with that one.
The thing is that the takeaway that I had from this was a little more optimistic than yours, I can see. Yep. But the point that I wanted to make with the story, which you still made, is that even people who, let's say, are the most toxic maximalist Bitcoiners, people who, really hate Bitcoin Cash or whatever it is, at the end of the day, they still said, okay, we'll take it. Because when something is this useful and there's demand to spend it, people are going to take it. And it's just a matter of time. So these people can parade around and be angry and be their maximalists with their laser eyes. But guess what? If they come to St. Kitts, they come to St. Martin, they want to spend their crypto. They're not spending Bitcoin. They're going to be converting it into Bitcoin Cash begrudgingly. So that's an important takeaway here is we have a tool that's so useful, that has so much utility, that has you can spend it all around the world, that you take even the most aggressive, angry people, and they'll be like, all right, I'll take your Bitcoin Cash. So for me, that's sort of a hopeful ending to the story. But as far as adoption, there is something to be said about when we onboard places to give people a heads up that, you know, there's going to be potentially people who reach out and have nasty things to say. And you know what, even a better way to go about this is just to say, hey, if you're accepting Bitcoin Cash, it's probably a good thing that you learn a little bit about the history, and then refer them to the amazing documentary Who Killed Bitcoin, and have them watch that on their own time. Because I'll tell you what, people reached out to Rolando, and I've spoken to Rolando privately on the phone about people reaching out to him, including Samson Mao. And Rolando on the phone was laughing about it. But that's also because he knew to expect that. It's also because he's sophisticated, he's in politics. We can't always expect that of every single person we onboard or anyone who gets involved in Bitcoin Cash. So education is going to be what is so important. And again, we have that wonderful documentary that we can give to anyone who's interested in Bitcoin Cash to learn about the history of the currency.
For everyone watching, I just posted a link to that documentary in the chat comments thing.
But you know, like whoever asked, it's not easy. Yes, we have not one, but a lot of businesses. So I will not just say something. So you convince them, you try to onboard them, you put up the stickers, they have the application, we even give them a cash register app if they don't have their tablet, everything, and you go next week, you pass by and the sticker doesn't exist anymore, or somebody goes there and says, hey Sonny, this thing is listed on the map, but I just went there and I ate dinner, and they're not accepting Bitcoin Cash. So yes, there are people. The ratio is minimum 1 out of 100. So maybe I've onboarded personally 300 plus businesses, got 4 to 5, but then you go back to them, you explain. It's not easy. Also, it's new. The technology is new. It's instant. For them, it's difficult. One day is 250, one day is 220, one day is 280. How do they account? How do they actually show today it was 20 and tomorrow is $18? That $2 somewhere in the accounting needs to be shown. So all this needs to be convinced. And I think with time, they will learn, they will know, we will know, and it'll all fall in the right hands. But it's important after onboarding to actually follow up. It doesn't just end putting stickers and finishing, okay, happy. We put it listed on the map and it's done. No, after go there, check if they're still okay, if they have a complaint, if they stop, the big important is the owner is never there. You speak to the owner, he's happy, he's your friend, he's not your friend, he's convinced. They put up stickers when you go. The manager has no clue what is Bitcoin Cash. So we have to make sure the managers, the wait staff, everybody knows. I think I've seen Roger and Mark, whenever they go, they actually speak to the waitresses, tip them, give them little vouchers. That actually makes them download the wallet. It's much important to educate the wait staff and the bartenders than actually the owners. Owners come to place where they make a decision, yes, we'll accept it. But after that, when he's gone, we go back to the bar, have a drink, have dinners, and actually show the people how it works. That's more important, not just give up after the first meetup. Follow-ups. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of people on the map and half of them accept it. So it's important to follow up on all and make it accepted, because the last thing you want is a customer going with a Bitcoin Cash sticker and they don't take it. Very important to make sure they accept it and keep continuing that thing. Because we also explain to them, it's not that because you accept Bitcoin Cash, from tomorrow you're going to have 100 customers paying with crypto. No, it's going to take time. The world is changing, but it's going to be slow, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So guys,
we need curators.
I actually have a suggestion for a tool that can help you do this more effectively. And I've suggested this in multiple places before, but I want to take it on voice here where I have you here. So all of these merchants have a device that takes the payment, and this device knows whether or not it has been used. So when you set up your merchant, leave some contact information and tell the device that if you haven't been used in a given time, just send me a quick message and I'll follow up, right?
Okay.
So when you set them up, instead of leaving them and trying to remember and not knowing where to follow up, use technology to help you know and be more effective in your follow-up. Because I agree, follow-up is much, much more important. You can acquire trust and you can lose trust. And losing trust is much harder to regain it afterwards. I've seen so many merchants who started like in 2014 and 2017 in bull-up runs and been really like happy about it. And then they get burned for one reason or another, and you don't notice for several months. And when you talk after that long while, they've lost all interest or they have disgruntled feelings and don't want to talk with you. But if you can know within a week that, okay, they haven't had any merchant, any customers, but they used to have, then something is wrong here. And maybe I should just send a message or lift the phone and make a call or go down and see and talk with them. Because it could be something as simple as like they fired the employee who knew how to handle the system and they need a quick refresher. Or it could be something much worse, like the device might just not start anymore and they need help moving their data to a new device to get back in order. There's a lot of reasons. So yeah.
How do we do that again? There's something in the application we can follow up?
I don't think anyone has built it yet, but I've been telling people, particularly the Bitcoin, Dotcom, point of sale related people, that they can add this. And you know, the maps that has merchants, they very often, after bull runs at least, start showing stale data as merchants fall out. And if you connect the point of sale devices information to these maps, then you can get a quick overview. You can know where to follow up, and customers don't go to places that no longer take it. So customers don't get disappointed. There's a lot of benefit from connecting this information.
That's like the AnyPay register. Like when you use the AnyPay register, it actually keeps the merchant there in green. And then as they start having less transactions, it goes to yellow and then red. I don't use the AnyPay app register because it's got all these other cryptos on there. I want to keep it Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, I would love to have the Bitcoin.com wallet, application have that. So it makes it easier for me to curate, just saying, okay, these guys are green, these are good, this is going yellow, I need to curate, need to go up and touch them. But I find a lot of people drop off is when they don't see people asking for Bitcoin Cash for a while. You know, you just sign them up and leave them. They don't like that. And also, I think a great way of retaining your Bitcoin Cash merchants is to promote them to other merchants. You know, I have meetups and I say, look, come to the meetup, promote your business to crypto enthusiasts, you know. That helps a network effect. And then people go, wow, I didn't know there was like 150 merchants here. Yeah, I didn't know there's 150 shops that I can spend my Bitcoin Cash. And go, yeah, bro, you can get your surfboard from Skin Ski Surf, or you can get dinners. This is such and such place. So yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, that's a great idea about the Curator app. I'm going to put that towards the tech department here down in Code Valley. See what they can do.
And diversify. Very important for the cash register app is just not to accept one particular industry. We need everybody. We need a tire shop. We need a car dealer. We need a supermarket. We need restaurants. We need everybody. So we have to diversify. Now, I know that it's a very common, like I said before, I'm repeating, and it's a very common tendency where I approach. Initially, I used to do the same, only approach restaurants. Because I don't know why. First thing when I think of onboarding, and I think of a restaurant. But it's, I think, beyond it, because who have, like if you come Bitcoin, Jason, you come to St. Martin or St. Kitts, you want to spend everywhere. You want to buy your air tickets from Bitcoin Cash till rent your car with Bitcoin Cash. And that's one more thing I just thought of it, is the holding policy. We should have a policy where car rentals is very important. That's why we have a problem, because if they hold, they have this holding thing, and very difficult to accept. Have on board car rental companies, where can they hold, and if they hold, what happens to the value? That's one more thing. If the developers are listening, we should work on they can block monies and release it after 3 days. But
you got escrows for that.
Yeah, we should do that.
And then one other business type, couple other businesses that are quite easy to target. Or actually, one in particular is like similar restaurants, but not, is any local coffee shop or otherwise. They tend to have a lot of influence in their community. A lot of people go into them, and they're typically just one store. So it's pretty easy to onboard. And oftentimes the owner is going to work there. So it's pretty easy to access them. And I think that's probably one of the, I mean, yes, we still need to expand to everything from car repair shops and otherwise, but I think local coffee shops are probably one of the quickest and best ways to just start getting noticed in a community.
Yeah. I mean, we even have gas stations in St. Kitts and Nevis, even though Nevis has just 2 gas stations out of that, one accepts it. It's really cool and the gas stations are made where they have the mini superettes inside. So it's very convenient where to come to the island, you actually fill gas, you rent a car, stay in the hotel to do with it. And when you say coffee shops, is the Amsterdam coffee shops or just coffee shops?
No, like they sell like pastries and stuff too, generally. Yeah. And maybe they'll have a little bit of seating inside, but generally they're smaller, just local one store places that someone in town owns. I know, Mark, I think you have to go soon. I don't know if you'll have any final words for us, but either way, thank you very much for joining and sharing your insight. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Great seeing you guys. Congratulations again to the developers for today. This is outstanding. Very, very happy to be part of the ecosystem, and thank everyone for coming to the stream, and thank you for inviting me to the stream. So hopefully I'll see you all in person very soon.
Thank you. See you there.
See you guys.
Jonathan, thank you for joining as well. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I'm also going to head out. It's been nice, everyone. Bye.
See you, John. Take care, my man.
Yeah. And I mean, we're approaching
the update is complete now. The upgrade is complete. Everything sorted.
We have how many blocks on the new upgrade? We have 8 blocks since new consensus. So everything's running smoothly. No issues, thankfully. Not that any were to be expected. But I don't know. We're over 3 hours into the what was supposed to be a 2-hour stream. But I mean, that's largely because we had a great showing.
So many wonderful guests. Unexpected, lovely, wonderful, fantastic people who are doing so much in the space. It's really an honor to talk to these people. It's just great. So
absolutely.
Hopefully, we get to see everybody in the meetup, the Bitcoin Cash meetup in November.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great to have the crowd community congregate and see what real cryptocurrency adoption really is and what it looks like.
Right?
I think
big
that's
massive photo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Big massive photo. Just have theirs like the OGs. Like when it becomes money for the world, it's got like these people here. They like the early explorers of Bitcoin Cash and the economy that we have today, talking future tense. It'd be awesome. Yeah.
Definitely something to look forward to. Well, on that note, are there any final comments from anyone? Nope. Okay. In that case, thank you. Sorry, could you say that again?
Amazing. It was nice talking to everybody. Learned a lot again, more today. Learning every day with BCH.
Thank you very much for joining, Sonny. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, it's great. Finally get to talk to you. So that's wonderful.
Yes,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Wonderful here. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say everyone that works in the Bitcoin Cash community, a big thank you. Whatever you do, by just saying a merchant, do you accept Bitcoin Cash, to the guy writing code, to the wee hours of the night. I just want to thank everyone that does what they do for Bitcoin Cash.
Thanks, Jason. It's appreciated. Not that I do any of that. I do not. So I'm trying to take credit for that. Hopefully I'm not overstepping by thanking you on behalf of the community for your work.
We all did it. We did it together.
Okay. All right, guys.
See you, Sonny.
Take care. Bye. I'll take leave.
Chief, do we have any final things we want to mention before we move up?
Yeah, I would like to very much again say thank you to our sponsors, BitDeer. Please follow them on Twitter for a chance to win 5 Bitcoin Cash mining contracts. Satoshi's Angels for pulling together so many things, so many great people I'm honored to work with. Peter for sponsoring Satoshi's Angels. I'd love to thank all of our guests and participants, developers, merchants, influencers. We have the whole the whole deck of cards of so many different people.
We had everyone today. It was quite amazing. It was great.
Really unlike any other space. If you join any other crypto space, it's going to be just people talking about price. So that's basically it. Price. But we're doing so much beyond just that, and it's so wonderful. I don't have anything to promote. There will be another network discussion coming up soon. Details to be announced. Trying to think if there are any other streams or anything that I'm aware of. There's
Next year we'll have another one of these. So stay tuned. You got 364 and a half days to go, guys.
For people that were interested in the chip process and learning more about how upgrades, please check out the video that's also posted on this channel for a rundown that explains it quite well. And I think it's really one of the most valuable things that BCH has. So that's it for me. Thank you everyone. See you on the internets. You can find me everywhere. Cheap Lightning. I'm Cheap Lightning everywhere. There you go.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you to our guests.